Yo, 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 we are back once again. DPS podcast, that's damage per second podcast, episode 136. And we are back again on a fine Thursday evening with a special guest and also a late Forte as usual. We are fully prepared for late Forte. So what's up late Forte? How's it going?
It's all about being in rare form, man. You know, if you're not giving the people what they want, I had to give people enough time to, get their popcorn, get their, their beverages, go to the cigar bar and have a drink with their friends. Yeah, you don't know what it's a cigar lounge, not bar, cigar lounge. They went to go do all that. So yeah, who doesn't go to the lounge, man? It's right up, it's like for grown folks.
I'm not sure your forte is gaming or tardiness. I'm thinking tardiness is your forte. Makes more sense.
Probably is. I'm tardy at work too, so.
Yeah, I think that's why you missed the call. I think they were calling you for that GameStop CEO slot that they gave away today.
No. Who did they give it to? I didn't even look into it.
The dude who was the creator of Chewy.
He's intern. Unless he officially took it like head on.
No, yeah, he's the official dude.
Oh my God! So Brian Cohan, let's go. Okay, we'll see.
But that voice that you guys heard, that is the GameLogIQ in the house.
Logic.
First time. How's it going, Logic? How you been, bro?
Good man. I'm glad to finally be on.
Awesome. Glad to have you. And for those who don't know who GameLogIQ is, GameLogIQ is also a panelist on BRAP with Enrique. Shout out to Enrique. Shout out to B Money and the BRAP crew. Eric Jackson, even though he's kind of like no longer really a part of BRAP, but still, unofficially still a part of BRAP, the homie. But for those who don't know you, GameLogIQ, let everyone know just a little bit about your gaming history and what you do now, like in the gaming community, as far as a content creator.
Yeah, so I've been gaming since the hobby started. So my first console was the Magnavox Odyssey, which, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember my history correctly, was the first console sold at retail in North America. So it was an old Pong machine.
Oh man,
I don't even remember what those were. So I was kind of laughing today because a mutual of mine on Twitter posted the Sega Master System, and he was like, "This is my first console." And I was like, "Dude, that was my third."
My first was actually a oh my gosh, I can't, my brain is like sorry.
I like that 5200, 7800.
Mine was 2600.
2600. It was 2600.
Okay.
Yeah, but that wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted a Nintendo Entertainment System, but that's what I ended up getting.
I got that too.
I got an NES eventually, but yeah. But no, so you are OG in gaming logic. What are you doing now as far as like in gaming, as far as gaming media or content creation, or just like what games are you playing? Like what's all of that you're doing now in the gaming community?
So we've been doing it's a long and sordid history. So probably for 9 years or so, maybe longer. So there was a long time ago, there was a forum site, a website, before real social media kind of came along. There was a site that a guy set up called Casual Adult Gamers, and it kind of, the shtick behind it was adults who have careers and homes and kids and responsibilities and stuff, and don't necessarily have time to keep up with all the gaming news, but we're also kind of not wanting to necessarily be around, console warring and all that kind of stuff even back then. And so this guy set up a forum site, and then he asked for some people to do a podcast because, like I said, a lot of the members just didn't have the time to keep up with all the gaming news. And so those of us who had the time, we started doing that. And it's kind of ebbed and flowed over the years, but the group that kind of came out of that, we've wound up sticking together and continue to do the show. And then I've been blogging for about probably like 20 years, following kind of gaming news and media and tech, and then started live streaming and doing Let's Plays and stuff. Probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, 8 years ago. But my interest is mostly like in the technical part of it and the studio equipment. I used to do a lot of kind of tech consulting on studio equipment and some of the software and things like that for people who were trying to get into live streaming. So I'm not a big personality or anything like that. I just kind of like messing with the tech. So I just kind of do that on the side and just kind of try and participate in the gaming conversation every now and again on Twitter.
Yeah, good old Twitter. The gaming conversation on Twitter is it is its own animal, right?
Those are some mean streets.
Yes. All right. Well, again, definitely glad to have you, bro. I know for a fact what you bring to the conversation and your knowledge and just in tech and gaming in general is definitely going to spice up this conversation, especially when we get into a few topics, a few showcases that are coming up, so to speak. Forte, you still there, Forte? Did you drop in and then leave on us already? Must have no Forte. All right, Logic, what have you?
No, I am here. I was talking, but I forgot that now that I got that new mixer, I mute the mixer and not Discord. So I'm like, why is it not saying anything? And I'm talking, but I'm like, oh, that's because I muted the mixer. But
this your first time doing a podcast?
No, I just listen, man.
It seems like it. I mean,
Listen, are you asking? Listen, you're asking. Did you just okay? You asked me a question. What I'm playing, right?
Yes. What are you playing?
Okay, you already know what I've been playing.
No, but maybe the audience don't know what you're playing.
No, nothing but Diablo. Yeah. Destiny's in the bushes for the last week. It's all Diablo.
Where it needs to stay.
It'll come back at some point when it stops being boring. When it stops being boring, we'll be right back over there. But right now it's Diablo
in the bush
all day, every day,
and then burn the bush, right?
And when I'm not playing Diablo, I'm tweaking and moving around stuff in my game room because I got my system, my dentist speaker system set up, and I'm trying to get the most optimum sound out of my setup over there at my TV. So if I'm not playing video games or working, I'm messing around with that, and I think I almost got it dialed in for the most part. But yeah, Diablo is amazing. I hate to say it plays the best on a controller. I can't believe I'm saying that, but Diablo 4 plays amazing on the controller. It almost plays it plays better than keyboard and mouse, which is insane.
Slow. I'm out. I've heard enough slander.
Listen. GameLogIQ. I bought the game on PC to play keyboard and mouse, and I was just happy, and everybody kept talking about how great the controller support was. So I plug in my Elite controller, and I'm like, yo, this feels really good. Like I thought, Diablo 3 played really good on the controller, but this is like a whole nother level. It's like I didn't talk to a lot of people and message boards and everything talking about that. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. We can get into the weeds
on that because that's an actual topic. We can get into the weeds on that a little bit later.
Okay, yeah, we can get into the weeds on Diablo. It's amazing.
You are just real quick because someone in the chat want to know what class you were using. I guess
sorcerer
class.
Running a arc lash build and frozen orb.
Sure.
With fireballs. It's pretty incredible.
Shout out to Enrique. What's up, Enrique? Yeah, GameLogIQ, what have you been playing?
Call of Duty.
No, actually I haven't.
Thank God.
I haven't been back to Call of Duty for a couple weeks.
Yeah, me too.
I started.
Go ahead.
I started this week off, so I've been into a few different things. I started this week off playing, or I got a hold of and started playing. Let me make sure I don't screw the title up. Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp on the Nintendo Switch. So.
Say what system that's for again?
Nintendo Switch.
Oh, the system that people say is weak and people keep buying games for it. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
It is.
I mean, It is, but
it is
has,
weak, but people
but
keep
it has
playing
some
games.
there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's all that matters. Who cares about how weak the system is if it got good games?
Yeah. So I've been playing that. I've been playing Diablo 4 also. And then I started Everspace 2 early this morning.
Okay.
So I'm playing a little bit of that. And I will probably, as we head into the weekend, I'll probably swing through and start playing a little bit more, getting back to Fire Emblem Engage. So that's kind of
that's what I'm talking about.
The games I have in the quiver right now.
Yeah, not as good with the story as Three Houses, but the combat, they definitely improved with the combat, and I like the level design. The level design for there's a lot more variety in different terrains and in different battlefields.
Right.
Than compared to Three Houses, where I felt like I was just fighting on the same, like, except for like those big, like, epic story plot point missions where like the level is like designed, the battlefield is designed for that specific mission, and then really only that mission is the only time you really see it. But other than that, I felt like I just kept rotating the same five battlefields all through Three Houses, which I'm glad that's something that was kind of short of with Engage. It just wish the story wasn't so
bland.
It's not Three Houses.
Yeah, that's why I heard about it too, because I was thinking about picking it up, and then I was like,
It's definitely awesome to play. I'm gonna play through it again at some point. I beat it earlier this year. So.
Where are you playing it at right now?
So I did beat it on the Switch. Okay. I own it on the Switch.
Okay.
The next time I play it, though, it won't be on the Switch. This is as far as I'm gonna say. Okay. Next time I play it, it won't be on the Switch.
It'll be on a ROG Ally.
It might just be on the. You know what? I don't want Nintendo coming after me. We just gonna move on.
Ooh, nice shot. Look at that snipe.
Thank you.
Your game getting better.
Excuse me.
I'm saying your aim. I said your aim is getting better.
Okay. I am starting to get into sniping. I get bored. I'm getting bored with Rogue Company, so now I'm just like, what have I not mastered? Sniping. So I'm gonna snipe now. But no, GameLogIQ. What how far are you in Fire Emblem Engage?
Not that far. I just started it, and then I played like the first 2-3 hours or so, and then I forget what other game came out at the time, but I got distracted and didn't get back to it. But like I said, planning on going back to it this summer.
All right, so you probably haven't really. There's a lot that you don't even know what's going on. I think the first 2 or 3 hours, you still haven't really got your base of operations yet, and it's just a lot. But it's very linear at that point. So, but yeah, you got a lot to enjoy with that one. That one's gonna be really good. For myself, remember Forte when I said I bought Splatoon 3?
Yeah, you finally played it?
Yeah, I finally played it.
Did you play it on the Switch?
Yeah, I played it. I mean, I don't think that game could be played like on.
Oh yeah.
Because it's multiplayer.
You can play single player, but you can't play. Yeah, it's true. The multiplayer thing is kind of sunk in.
Yeah, I don't like it, man. I don't like Splatoon, man. It's
Why?
got the
you feel
gyro.
like you're getting beat. Oh, it's got the gyroscope and everything inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole gyro aiming thing, and it's like I did like 2 matches. The first match we won. I guess I did okay. I mean, I was knocking people out, but like I just didn't. I just wasn't enjoying myself, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. I wasn't enjoying myself because of the whole gyro control thing, and that took some getting used to. That's the first time I've ever played a shooter that has gyro controls. So for me, that was just like, I kept forgetting about that, and I kept like kind of like leaning my controller down, like pointing down the way I normally play a controller, and it was throwing my aim off sometimes. So I was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. So I did a couple of matches, but I was done. I played Planet of Lana a little bit. It's like a puzzle game. It's in Game Pass. It's okay. It's probably I'm probably near the end of it. But I couldn't keep up with it too much because Diablo 4 came out, and I've been playing Diablo. I have been playing. I don't know how many hours I have in it, but I'm at level 31 now on my Necromancer.
Ooh, you passed me.
I've been playing Rogue Company, see like the gameplay. I'm just sniping people. That's just what I do now. Just go snipe people. I think I might be done with Rogue Company soon.
You said that before.
I have, but it's just like there's nothing left for me to do. I've done everything. I've done everything. I'm about to become a weapons master and master all the weapons. So it's just like, yeah, I think it might be a wrap. But I don't know. We'll see.
I'm with you.
But no, yeah, that's about it. Diablo 4, a whole lot of Diablo 4, and I go on vacation starting Sunday, so I'm actually going to be on the road when the Xbox showcase is going on and live. I'll try to get my wife to drive while it's going on so I can watch it. If I can, then I'll just check the replay of it when I get to my destination, to the beach house that we're going to. So with that said, DPS podcast will not be next Thursday, but it will be the Friday, the day after. So I'm coming back on Thursday. I'm gonna be probably a little too tired because I'm literally driving 8 hours there and then 8 hours back. So I'm probably gonna be too tired to do the podcast. But we're gonna do Friday instead, and we might have some people here with us to discuss then some things. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I got GeForce Now. I signed up for it. I haven't tried it out yet. I'm gonna try it probably tomorrow, just to kind of work all the kinks out, make sure I got everything I need before I leave, and then I'm like out somewhere else and I need something for my laptop with GeForce Now and I don't have it. So, but yeah.
So you're taking the laptop. So you're not taking the Steam Deck.
No, because I sold my Steam Deck. Yes, okay. I sold the Steam Deck. I sold my Quest 2. I don't see. Here's the thing: is that like the only time I was using the Steam Deck is when I went on vacation, and then I said to myself, I was like, well, I mean, I could get GeForce Now and play the majority of the same games I was playing on my Steam Deck, because I would have the same access to the games I was playing through Steam Deck, and then I'll be playing it with better performance, potentially, because GeForce Now is supposed to be. So we'll see how it goes. I might end up rebuying it later on or something, but like I took the money I got off of that, and I went and bought a new motherboard and a new CPU that I haven't put in yet, because I still deciding whether I'm just going to build a whole new gaming PC, or whether I'm just going to put those things in the current one. I'm kind of leaning towards a whole new PC. But what's it called? Computech, right? Is that what it's called? Computech, the conference. Logic.
Computex, I think is what you're.
That's it. Skype.
Taiwan.
Yes, Skype, the company that does CPU coolers. I love their coolers. Like, they are freaking amazing, and they got their new one that's coming out. Isn't coming out to mid-July, but it's like, I have on my current PC, I have the Sky Fuma 2, and I want the Sky Fuma 3, but it's not coming out to July. So I think what I'm gonna do is just buy everything else I need for the PC, and then I'll just build it in July when I get the cooler.
That's an air cooler?
Yeah, it's an air cooler. I don't do the liquid cooling. Yeah, I always go with towers. So
okay, so I did want to. So with GeForce Now, did you do the paid tier or did you do the free tier?
I did the paid tier because the free tier you don't really get like, I mean, you get access to your stuff, but like at what like level of performance? So the level of performance is really what you have access to in the cloud is very different. Like, and they're not very, they only really give you details about what the top tier provides. So with the top tier, you get a PC that's running with a 3080. But then if there is availability, you will have the opportunity to have a 4080 GPU that you're using in the cloud. That's the one that's $20 a month. And what I plan on doing is essentially, I'm signing up for it. I'm going on vacation next month too, so I will do it for 2 months, and then I'm going to cancel it because I ain't going to use it no more. And then maybe, like, say if I go on vacation this winter, or you know, when I go on vacation next year with the family, I'll sign up again and then do another month. So this day I'm just kind of just do 1 month, get access, and then I drop it because I don't need it no more, kind of thing. So that's my current game plan with it. But it's the middle tier that's $10 a month says it's 1080p 60, which I mean, the laptop I'm going to be using, the screen is 1080p anyway. So I could have gone with that one if I wanted to. But I just kind of figured, like, why don't I go ahead and go with the top experience and see what it's like, you know? So.
As you should.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about GeForce Now is that's why I was asking, was that I think the free tier, if it's still the same, when I was testing it and messing with it, the issue for me is the free tier was like, it was like a queue, so you weren't like guaranteed server time. It was like sucks. You would go into a queue, and then I'd be like, what? I mean, you guys have heard me, like, time to me is more critical than money, right? I'll spend money to save time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not sitting in a queue when I have 2 hours to game at night, and I'm not sitting in a queue for 10-15 minutes or some indeterminate amount of time, right, to get access to the service. So yeah. That's what I was asking.
So yeah, that's probably the big problem with the free tier, which is like, it's free, so you can't really complain that like you don't get server access over the people that are paying, which, like, I guess they could say, yeah, this is our logic with that. That's fine. The $10 tier, you probably are guaranteed access, but you're only really getting whatever they have available that they allow you to play 1080p 60 frames per second. And then you got the top tier that's 20, and that one is the one that's like, if there is availability, you can use a 4080. If not, you're guaranteed to have 3080 performance. So
yeah, now all your Xbox titles or your Game Pass titles. I'm not sure if it's Xbox titles or Game Pass titles specifically, but will be available on GeForce Now, since that went live a lot earlier than I was expecting that it would.
Right, and that which kind of shows, I guess, their confidence with the deal. They think they can say, hey, look, we're gonna keep it moving like it's going through. I guess, I don't know, but I haven't checked all the games that are available. I do know that Gears 5 is available in there, but I'm not playing Gears. I didn't see Halo Infinite.
You don't want to play Gears?
No, I don't want to play Gears.
Oh Lord, Gears is really good.
I mean, it's fine. It's never been, the multiplayer's never been for me. But I think what am I about to say? Oh yeah. I don't see Halo Infinite in there. And so out of their first party games that I'm currently playing right now, Halo Infinite is really like the only thing. And I haven't seen that Halo Infinite is in there yet. So nor do I feel like I think I want to play a multiplayer game through cloud. I don't know if I want to put myself through that frustration with the latency and whatnot. But no, I guess we can get into the show. You guys ready to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Alrighty. So, Summer Game Fest. Jeff Keighley had his show today, right? And typically, I would say for me that I found his shows to be terrible. I think Summer Game Fest kind of sucked. Maybe just me. I just felt like, last year, for example, he had a lot of people coming up on stage and just talking for like 4 to 5 minutes, and all they showed was like a JPEG 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 concept art of their game, and I'm just like, why is this here?
I mean, same thing happened with Neil Druckmann and then when they went up there, there's like,
Yes,
here's some
here's
some screenshots of factions.
Yeah, which is all we've seen. Even all we've seen so far is just nothing but super screenshot factions, right?
I think that's all we're going to see.
Yeah, that might be the case. But I think this show, so far, I mean, I would say, me personally, a step up from where the previous show was. I'm not going to quite say if it was better than the PlayStation show or not quite yet, but we can start getting into the weeds on this. GameLogIQ, I know you saw it. What did you see from the show, and what did you find that excited you as a gamer?
Man, so I think maybe I'd caveat a little. Like, I don't walk away from any of these shows like standing up, clapping, like out of breath, my pulse racing, right about
out of breath.
I mean, they're an extended commercial. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before the pre-show, and the truth is that, and Brap and I were talking about it earlier today, like, between these shows, betas, and games releasing, like, there's, like, every step of the marketing process is something that is a shortfall from actually getting the games in your hand. And so I've never personally been wrapped up. Like, I know that there's a lot of dialogue about, oh, they didn't show gameplay. Oh, it was a CGI thing. Oh, it was in-game. Like, I don't, like, to me, I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't care what the fidelity of the trailer or the demo or whatever was. It is something that is a gap between that and the reality of having the game in your hand. And mincing meat about, how big a gap it was between what you saw and what you're going to play has never really mattered to me. SloMo, you're familiar with the reality of dev, QA, and prod, right? And you know that there's always a delta between those environments. And so you can say whatever you want to say about how close dev and QA are to prod, but until you're in prod, things are going to be different, right? And that's kind of the way I look at these game shows. So when I say I'm excited, I mean, all that means is that I saw a game that caught my interest, that I'll pay attention to, that is close enough in my wheelhouse that I'm interested in playing it if the game comes out good and isn't super buggy. Mm-hmm. So these aren't necessarily games that I'm like hype over, with maybe one or two exceptions. I was really happy to see Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Ooh, that trailer went on for a while, and I was watching it, and I was like, and I was listening to the music, and I was like, is this Prince of Persia? Because, I mean, of course, I was around when Prince of Persia came out on like MS-DOS, right? And you played it via floppy disks, right, in your non-Windows PC. So yeah, I was glad to see that. Mortal Kombat 1, I was glad to see like the story elements in that. We're going to continue kind of in this paradigm of MK 9, 10, 11, since the reboot of, what is essentially kind of this, this story. I don't necessarily want to say it's a movie, but I know, there are YouTube channels that have taken like all the cutscenes and strung them together and make like a little movie out of them. But like, that's interesting to me. I mean, I played through MK, 11 and the DLC, and enjoyed, my time playing through that, because I'm not a super big fighting game fan. I'm not a person who goes out and plays those games online. I used to way back in the day. I used to really hate fighting games, and so, but it's nice to see that they've kind of made this pivot to offer people who are maybe not core fans of the genre, reasons to onboard and play it. I like seeing Witchfire because I'm kind of a bit of a People Can Fly stan. So it was nice seeing them after, all the hell that they went through with Outriders, and dealing with Square Enix. It was nice to see them kind of getting back to me what feels like more of their bread and butter.
I must have missed that one. I didn't see that. Witchfire?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay, I have to go double check that again. And there was at one point where I had to run upstairs because of the kids. So maybe that's when that game showed. But no, Yeah, I completely missed that one. To kind of go back to Prince of Persia, I'm kind of showing the gameplay now. Were you shocked that it was a side scroller platformer? Because I was just like, wait a minute, okay.
No, because that's what original Prince of Persia was.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a ton of people in gamers in the community now who are familiar with kind of the 3D kind of Sands of Time kind of oriented. Like that is their Prince of Persia, and I get that. But what tipped me off was when I saw things and I saw locomotion that were kind of reminiscent of that side-scrolling Prince of Persia. That was the huge, popular game in the 90s. And I was I mean, it's interesting. And I'm not a big, huge 2D. I think somebody on Twitter mentioned because Everborn was happy about seeing the Sonic trailer.
Of course he was.
And they mentioned that today was
Sonic
a big
trailer
day.
was pretty fire.
It was a good trailer, but it's Sonic and it's Everborn, so I gotta give him crap for it. So I'm still gonna say it sucks, even though it looked good.
But they were mentioning today was a big show for 2D side-scrolling platformers. I guess maybe Metroidvanias. I'm not super huge on those games, but the comment I wanted to make back, I didn't get time to type it, was that I don't. This game is not in that bucket for me. Is it the type of game that I would tend to stay away from because it is that type of game, because I'm just not a huge platformer fan. Prince of Persia was something unique, special, different in the 90s, and provided it shows up and it's not super buggy, it's something I'm going to be there for.
Yeah, Forte, I know you missed the show, but looking at like the trailer I'm showing right now, what are your thoughts on Prince of Persia?
I like the direction. I mean, because just like GameLogIQ said, people, Sands of Time was one of my favorite games for a long time. And a lot of people, like you said, talked about the 3D version, and I get that, but this is classic Prince of Persia, and this is kind of what I wanted in the beginning. So the fact that that's actually something that they're doing, and we're actually going to finally get this, because let's be for real, a lot of us thought this was never going to happen.
Right. That's why I was shocked. I was just
shocked.
Because I only thing I remember of Ubisoft talking about Prince of Persia was the really bad looking 3D one that like they had a team on it, and then they had to like basically take that team off of it, give it to a different team who then rebooted it, and it's just like at this point I don't know if that game's ever coming out. So in my mind, I figured if I saw Prince of Persia again, it was going to be the reboot of that kind of failed project of Persia, which is 3D, which is not this. And I'm just like, oh, well, look, this looks awesome. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
It
looks really good.
I might play it. We'll see what happens.
You'll play it. It depends on when it comes out.
That's January 18th next year. So I think that's actually a pretty decent time. Beginning of the year. All the heavy hitters aren't really out yet at that time, Go ahead and play a little small game in the meantime. But not a small game is Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes.
So I know you hyped for this one. Look at this trailer. Look, they show gameplay. They show actual gameplay.
Legit gameplay
of the game. I think it looks good, and I said before, for me, kind of the whole nostalgia aspect of it. I know it's not exactly like a remake, but it's Liu Kang, now a god that's like has created a new universe where he's gone back to the beginning of things, and it's like some things are different, but a lot of it's still the same. And it's just just it kind of takes me back to being in middle school. It almost kind of got me want to give it a shot. Go ahead and I don't know, maybe because it's like so many fighting games this year, but I'm really starting to kind of like think I might pick one up and start playing around. I don't know. Of course, what are your thoughts on this gameplay?
As soon as I walked in the house, well, not even walked in the house, I was at work, and one of my associates just put it in our group chat. He was like, Mortal Kombat, because like I said, I was at work when this was all happening, and he said, Mortal Kombat trailer, you're welcome, thank me later. So I was like, okay, let me look at this now. I started looking at it, and I was like, I need to stop watching this because my daughter is a bigger Mortal Kombat fan than I am. So I said, wait till I got home, which is probably like an hour and a half ago. So we watch it together. We put it on I said, you know what, Ed Boon deserves the best. We go put it on the big TV and we go turn the surround system up and watch it. And I was like, yo.
What did you think about Ed Boon saying that, like, so like you see it now, well, you can probably see it now where like there is like you have a partner, like a tag team partner that you tag in, like, so they'll like the way he seemed to explain is like extending combos, like you would tag them in and then they kind of like, you know, give you a few hits in on the combo, kind of extend it further.
Think of it as Marvel versus Capcom, but you can't tag those players in. They're just players that can accentuate or extend combos or animations that you have in the game, which I think is I think it's ingenious, because I think a lot of people were thinking when they were thinking like, oh, you're gonna have tag in, tag out, and I was like, oh, do I really want that in Mortal Kombat? And it probably would still work really well. Because it hasn't been in a Mortal Kombat game, but I like their own unique spin where they say some of the basically they wanted to pay homage to a lot of all their older, you know, characters that haven't been in Mortal Kombat for a while. Like when I saw Striker pull out the flashlight, I was like, yo, that's Striker, let's go. So I was super nerdy out for it and stuff. And I think and then they showed, and then he talked about how there's going to be a meter that you couldn't see on the screen and stuff, but that as that meter fills, you can like kind of constantly do those tag in and tag out. But they say that meter has to get to a certain point for you to do it, so you can't just spam it over and over again. So it looks like they put a lot of thought into just the overall flow of what that combat feels like. But then when you just start looking at just the combos, seeing that all the transitions, the level designs that they had, you can really see like they even interwove the story aspects that they had back in Mortal Kombat 8 that they put in there a while ago. So you're getting more exposition on top of that. This is going to be a really, really deep game, and we're not even talking about, you know, the ladder systems that they usually have in these type of games and stuff like that, or the trial by fire and torment and test your might. These games are so deep, like it's ridiculous, and we only saw just gameplay. So just imagine all the stuff we didn't see on the back end. So I cannot wait for September 19th, bro. And I'm probably more excited because I'm already a Mortal Kombat fan, but I'm more excited because this is a game that me and my daughter, this is like her favorite franchise of all time, Mortal Kombat. She's been waiting for them to announce the next Mortal Kombat for 2 years now. So the fact that I'll get a chance to experience it with her makes it even more greater. So I'm really looking forward to what they show. It looks so good, bro. Game looks so good.
Yeah. Logic, I know you said that you've never really been into fighters, so I assume this one isn't going to be your jam, huh?
Oh no, what I was saying is I don't play competitively.
But you're down for the single player story experience.
Yeah, these things that have like the story pieces woven into them, and I get and I understand that that's not like, I'm sure core gaming fans are like, you know, whatever, but yeah, since they rebooted and went this route with the MK series and including the Injustice and Injustice 2 games, right? Like I've found these super interesting, and yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this.
Cool, yeah. I don't keep up with the Mortal Kombat storylines like that, but the ones that I have played, I used to be big into fighting games in high school, and then once like first-person shooters started to get popular on consoles, I just dropped the fighters for first-person shooters. But I still would pick up a Mortal Kombat game every now and then, and I would really just play through the story stuff, because I always found it fascinating and good. Better stories than you see from their movies. One funny thing I kind of wanted to bring up real quick, and I think this, I laughed so hard when I saw this because I tweeted about it because I thought it was hilarious. So, Dead by Daylight, which is probably the most popular of the Evolve kind of gameplay, where there's one villain and a bunch of heroes or whatever that they're being pitted against or something kind of like Friday the 13th, the game, which also is actually closing down because they can't keep the license for Friday the 13th. So it's not going to be sold anymore once this year is up, and then it's going to only have servers up for people to play it for a whole nother year. So by 2025, Friday the 13th ain't going to exist no more. But Dead by Daylight has got freaking Nicolas Cage in the game, which is so random. And Nicolas Cage showed up at the show, which was cool, but still, like, I just laughed because the way this game looked and the way he looked in the game just had me cracking up. I was just like, what in the world? I'm fairly certain none of us are gonna play this, right? No for logic. Forte might play it. I don't know. You a big Nicolas Cage fan? Well, SloMo, I love Nicolas Cage. I don't know what's going on with him and his mic right now. But let's move on. I'm gonna move on to something that I'm super hyped for, and that is Remnant 2. So I played Remnant 1 sometime after it came out. And I played it with Dash and Luca. Shout out to Luca. And me and her played through a co-op, and it was just so much fun. It's like a Souls game with guns. And we just had a great time with it. And although the level design was really bad, and although we didn't really care for the lack of story progression for the person that wasn't the host, we had a great time with it. And I think I've been, ever since they announced the second game, I've been ready to go. We're hyped to play it. Luca's ready to go. We're playing it like, well, hopefully as long as it's performance is good, we're gonna play it day one. If his performance is not good, we definitely waiting on that one. But I'm hyped for this one. Logic, what are your thoughts about Remnant 2?
I didn't play the original. It looked interesting, curious. I put it on my list of things that kind of caught my eye. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It caught my eye, it caught my interest. It's not something that I'm like, yeah, this is definitely going to be on my must play list.
Got you. Forte, are you back?
I'm here. I never went anywhere.
Did you not hear me?
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
So you just not paying attention.
I heard you say Logic. I didn't hear you say
you didn't hear. So
maybe that's when I removed my headset for a second to readjust the volume on it.
Longer than a second, but anyway.
Well, all you had to do you. Okay, anywho, yes. Am I going to play? No, I didn't play the last one.
I don't think you need to play story-wise the last one.
No, I'm just saying it's complicated. It's like I know my time is valued to a point where
this is a Destiny thing.
No, it's not. I played Diablo.
Yeah, but you really hype for Diablo because you
were
playing
that's what
Diablo games before Destiny was a thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what
it seems like you're relegating Remnant 2 into the category of I won't play it because I need to have all this time available for Destiny
and Diablo.
So SloMo, let me ask you a few questions that are a mixture of my nopes and my things that I do play.
Okay.
So this is a third person shooter action. So it's got melee and shooter mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it horror? Is it survival horror?
No. This is it's straight up like a think Elden Ring but with guns. So it does have aspects where your enemies are kind of like horror looking, and there were moments I will admit were moments where, like, for example, we were in the sewers in the first game and there was a whole new enemy that we hadn't seen yet and they were hanging off the ceiling. So we walk into a room and then they just start dropping behind us, all around us, and I mean, like, I wasn't scared. Luca was horrified. Okay,
don't be putting that
Hey,
energy.
no, I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what happened. She was horrified. She was screaming and yelling. It was crazy. So there are moments like that, but it's not like, for example, we'll talk about Alan Wake 2 in a moment. But Alan Wake 2 is definitely a shift for the Alan Wake franchise into survival horror. Like, they even talked about it. This isn't survival horror, because most survival horror is more like, oh man, I only got like 5 bullets, and I got like a hairpin and a broken grenade. That's all I got to do, to try to survive. But the enemies really aren't like that difficult.
Not the hairpin, bro.
Yeah, but no, this game will give you a ton of ammo, great weapons, great loot. Some of the loot is really awesome in the way they work and how you can use them, and sometimes you really need specific weapons for a certain boss. The bosses are very much like Souls-like bosses. It's a Souls-like game, and so it is difficult in that, and it's not an easy game. You're not just gonna run through it and be freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger just running through everyone and every enemy. You're definitely gonna get your head smacked. And it's fun to play, and it's fun to play with people too.
So when you said, I mean, so I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna play this because you said it's roguelike.
I'm definitely not gonna play this game.
I don't do roguelike. But I almost tripped over when you said. So are there looter shoot? Because I kind of got a little whiff of Borderlands vibes as I'm watching the gameplay. Is it a little bit of a looter shooter?
Yeah, it is a little bit of a looter shooter. So like you can level up weapons. Like, well, and I'm kind of like phrasing everything really from the first game, and I fully anticipate that they'll just kind of take what they did with the first game and just build upon it. And that's the developers of Gunfire Games. They're really good. I like them. But in the first game, you would get loot, and you could get like you'll get a weapon, and then you could level that weapon up, or you could make that weapon stronger. And so you would like get the weapons, and it's not really so much like they're just dropping loot left and right, but you will get like gear that you can put on, and it'll be better than what you currently got. But you can actually take, if you really like what you have and like the setup, because there'll be like gear sets. So for example, like there was this puzzle you could do. You do the puzzle, and it will open up this little like secret entrance to a big tower, and then in there would be like this alien looking armor, and it was the ugliest armor. It had like this ugly bug face helmet, and it was just ugly. But then you look at the bonuses for wearing it all together, and I was just like telling Luca, I was like, yo, this is so ugly, I might just deal with it. Like the bonuses were ridiculous. So it was almost like they was like, yeah, we know it's ugly, but look at it. Look what it does. And it just so it's kind of like it has some of those aspects of a looter in them with gear and how gear can work together, but it's not fully like that. You'll do a lot of going to the mechanic and the gunsmith and just upgrading your weapons that way, instead of looking for more weapons out in the world to actually be better than what you're using. If that makes sense.
Gotcha. It looks dope. Before you go on, I do want to, because I think you I don't think you have this in the rundown, but I want to correct what I said earlier about Witchfire. It's not from People Can Fly. It's former developers from People Can Fly.
Okay, that makes sense then. Yeah, that makes sense then. Okay.
They put like their like background and history of games that they've done, and they were all People Can Fly games, and that's
is Witchfire the game where the guy's girlfriend or his wife is a ghost? And
oh no, I'm hype on that game, but no, that's Banish.
Banisher, I think.
Banisher's Ghost of New Eden.
Yeah. I'm
that's
interested in that one too. Yeah.
Surprisingly, that seems like very much not a Don't Nod type of game. But.
Yeah, they're very much. But here's the wild thing about Don't Nod. Their very first game actually is a game called Remember Me, with a black female protagonist.
Yeah, yep.
And it's not like the Telltale style of game that they're known for. They didn't really get known for anything until they did Life is Strange, and now that's kind of like what everyone expects from them. But they also did that vampire game, which I heard wasn't all that good. I never played it, but it's just like they don't do just the whole Telltale thing, which a lot of people seem to just get that perception that that's who they are, because
Sure. Yeah.
you know that's what people know them from. I did want to show this, so I did play. So they did announce today that Liza P is, I forgot what the release date was. I think the release date is October. Maybe someone in the chat can actually correct me on that. But the demo,
September 19th, 2023 is what I wrote down.
Wow, September is packed. But the demo is available now, and I did get a chance to play the demo. It's available on Xbox and available on PC. And it's a Souls-like game, so I'm fairly certain I'm the only one on the panel that's played it. But quick,
I love how you just became a Souls fan literally overnight.
I wouldn't say I'm a Souls fan so much as
Is what?
They're cool to play. I like the challenge in them, and I like they're cool to, but they all have a format that they all follow, and sometimes I'm just not interested in playing it. You know, not that it's bad, but there are some bad Souls likes. I think like Mortal Shell. I think Mortal Shell sucks, but Remnant, which is kind of like a different take on it. It does have melee components, but you're shooting a gun a lot too. I like that's different, but it kind of follows the same formats and stuff. Anyway,
right.
Liza P is a Souls-like. Literally, if you play Elden Ring or Demon Souls or Dark Souls, the controls, you're gonna pick it up. You're gonna know exactly where all the buttons are, exactly how it plays. It does do a little things different with like the mechanical arm. I think the main character moves way too slow. Oh, real quick, performance in the demo. Now, and this is in the demo. I don't know how the full game is going to be, but in the demo, it performed great on PC. I did the demo through Steam. I was getting like anywhere between 165 to 230 frames per second at 1440p max settings. If they had the option for me to in-game switch my monitor to my 4K monitor, I would have tested it on that. But I didn't have any hitching, any stuttering, issues like that. It ran flawlessly. The only thing is that like your character moves like super slow, and even when I started to like run with him, I still didn't feel like I was moving faster, but it just didn't feel that great. You're kind of starting from the beginning, so I will give them this, that like I didn't like different abilities or different like attack combinations and stuff like that wasn't there or available, but like the combat was just so basic, and the enemies were fairly easy to just beat because all I had to do was just dodge left on everybody. Honestly, that's just basically what I did, just dodge left, and then try to figure out what the controls are like. And then there's like a boss at the end that I died to twice, and then like I had to turn it off because I had some other things to do. But like I probably will jump in there and
had to go
whoop
to work.
him.
That man had to go to work. He had things to do.
Well, stuff happens. But look, no, I'm gonna slap that boss around next time I jump back on it.
Slap the boss.
Visually, it looks good. It looks good visually. I don't know how it runs on Xbox. I haven't tested it out on that yet. I might download it and test it out there just to see what it looks like over there. But I don't really think I care for the story either. It's like this Pinocchio thing, and I don't know, man. It's just a little strange, but it's gonna be in Game Pass at launch, although a lot of people are hyped for that. That for me, I just like, hey, look, I get to try the full game out without having to buy it, so appreciate it. But you guys have any thoughts on this one? Even though I know you guys aren't really interested in this kind of game.
Liza P.
It looks good.
It does look good.
I think the thing that mildly interests me, and I don't know what it is, but did you ever play American McGee's Alice?
No.
And maybe it's just like the fairy tale. Like I mean, I do, from a story perspective, I love like twists of like old fairy tale story, like the real Grimm's tales and things like that. So,
oddly enough, Ravenlock that just came out is basically Alice in Wonderland. Like, it's literally like the story almost. It just changed Alice and put the name Ravenlock and some other stuff, but it's literally the same game.
Nice. Yeah, and that's the one thing that has me slightly interested in it is, for some reason, I'm getting American McGee's Alice vibes off of it. Who, American McGee just ran into problems with EA trying to get them to greenlight a sequel, or I think a third Alice game that he was successful getting that deal put together. But I'll keep an eye on this. Like, unlikely that I'll play it due to the Souls-like elements or roguelike elements, but I'll keep an eye on it. The weird thing with those Souls-like and roguelike elements is people are trying so many variations today that at some point there's going to be a thing that is Souls-like or whatever, but doesn't have like the specific elements of that game design that I don't like, and that may give me a window to get on board with something like this. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Be interested to see how it comes out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people fall in that category because I feel like the reason why Elden Ring became so popular was that they took Dark Souls 3 and said, make it open world. That's what Elden Ring is, and it's for a lot of people. That was the ability to kind of travel and go anywhere and do anything, and especially I think this one aspect, if you got slapped up by a boss, that's fine. Just leave that dungeon or that area, go somewhere else, do some exploring, do some power leveling or whatever, and continue to enjoy the game. And I think that really spoke to a lot of people. That it's a little different than what you expect from Dark Souls. And I think I do agree with you that like you'll probably end up liking one that just different enough to really allow you to really like enjoy the experience because of some quirk that it has. And I think for me, that's partly the reason why I don't enjoy all the Souls likes, because some of them just really don't do anything any differently than what a typical Dark Souls game does. And if you're not going to do anything different, I don't want it. So, yeah.
Still amazes me. SloMo didn't even know he wanted Dark Souls games until Elden Ring.
Look,
Man,
no. That's not it. That's not it. Remember, I had the whole Twitch channel membership thing, and
yeah,
Big
I
Mike.
remember. That's how it started.
I think, was it Big Mike? He built up enough channel points to force me to play Demon Souls on PS5. And so when I played Demon Souls, and shout out to those streams. Those streams are funny. That like I saved them because I knew that, you know how Twitch is. Twitch sucks, where like after 2 weeks the stream is gone forever. So I saved them all. But they were funny because, man, was I doing everything wrong. A lot of people tuned in just to watch me like stumble around and figure it out. But it was cool. But no, that was Demon Souls was a remake, was my first game. And then I played Elden Ring. That one, and that didn't the other one. Anyway,
proud of you, bro.
Look, I am always open to new experience, and if a game, and if a game turns out to be better than what I thought it would be, then yeah, I'm willing to admit, hey,
every season of Destiny is a new experience.
No, it isn't. It's the same crap, and you know it. We'll move on. Next game I kind of wanted to speak on, just really due to the. I really like what they're doing with this game, even though it's not really for me. But Alan Wake 2 and Remedy. So I gotta give Remedy props for always kind of changing up their game design. So they took Alan Wake, which I can't remember. Well, I guess the first one was like an immersive sim, kinda, right? The first Alan Wake. I can't remember. It's been a while.
I can't remember. It's been so long since that.
Yeah.
Since I walked around with a flashlight.
But this game definitely does not play like Alan Wake 1. Alan Wake 2, they freely even said is their take on survival horror. So you're going to actually think more like Resident Evil than what Alan Wake was. And I think their Northlight engine is amazing. And I love the physics that their engine has, which is like, it's like in Control, you destroy a desk, and you see the bits of it, the wood shit, everything just like blows up and like falls naturally all over the place. Like their engine's awesome. But what I have the respect for them is I like that they take risk and they're willing to kind of go outside of what is known for their game design and do something different. And so that's why I really wanted to kind of talk about this one, because like what they're doing here in Alan Wake 2, they got this new character, black female protagonist. Gotta throw that out there because I like to see our black woman being represented. Her name is Saga. She's an FBI agent. She's one protagonist, and Alan Wake is the other one. And the way Sam Lake explained it in the Summer Game Fest is that you can actually seamlessly transition between the two of them anytime you want throughout the game up until the end. I think at the end you have to get them both to beat the game. You have to get them both to the end, but you could, if you wanted to, you could basically switch to Alan Wake and do all of his content up to right before the end, and then switch to Saga, or you could just go back and forth. It's really up to you, and I think that's pretty cool. GameLogIQ, what were your thoughts about Alan Wake 2?
That looks good. I like it. I mean, I'm a fan of Remedies. You know, maybe even less so than the Alan Wake 2 story is. We still don't know exactly what the approach is going to be on the Max Payne 1, Max Payne 2 remake, and whether or not it's going to be a kind of reimagining of the approach to that story. Like that, that it's not going to be like the comic book interludes with things that like the way they were done in Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2, or if it's going to be something more like the way Max Payne 3 was done. But the possibility that it might use this engine and this design framework to do a Max Payne, I think is possibly super interesting. I don't know that that's going to be the approach, but I did like the things that I saw here.
Did you play Quantum Break and Control?
I did not play Quantum Break. I played a little bit of Control, but didn't finish it.
Okay.
But they were good games.
Yeah, I like both of those games. I would say I like Quantum Break's story better than Control's story, but I like Control's gameplay better than Quantum Break's gameplay, if that makes sense. Forte, what are your thoughts about Alan Wake 2?
Alan Wake 2. Did you play American Nightmare?
I did not. I only played the base game. I never played American Nightmare.
I feel like American Nightmare was better than Alan Wake, in my opinion, at least. I mean, what I would say is better. It's a smaller experience. I just think it was narratively more tighter. So I enjoyed that a little bit more. I am definitely more I'm interested in this game. Like I said, for me, it just ultimately comes down to, I hate to say it, do I have time?
Yeah. And I think they did the release date. This one is October as well, right?
Yeah. And come to find out, there's another game that's coming out in October that we're going to get to very soon.
Yeah. So let's go. Actually, let's talk about that now. Because I was going to talk about the last game they showed that had me hyped. But let's discuss Spider-Man. So interesting enough, Insomniac comes out on stage here at the Summer Game Fest and gives us something that we didn't get in the PlayStation Showcase, which is a release date on Spider-Man, which is October 20th. So October 20th, Spider-Man will be coming out, which is more than a month away from Starfield. I saw some people trying to say that Insomniac was ducking Starfield. I think that's a major reach, super reach, but whatever. October 20th is fine for me. Whatever else is coming out around that time, sorry. I might you're hitting the backlog if that. Something else that I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know anyone else really heard what was said, but they're saying that Venom is in this game, which we already knew, and Tony Todd, legendary actor Tony Todd, is doing the voice for Venom, but Venom is not being played by Eddie Brock. So Venom's been played by I forgot the bully, Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
Yes, but it's not Flash Thompson either. They said it's someone completely different, and they said, well, in order to figure out who Venom is, you're gonna have to play the game. And I've seen some people based off of the events of the first game think it might be Harry. It might be Harry as Venom, since he's like sick or whatever in that tank. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Harry. I feel like they kind of want to make Harry be the next Green Goblin, but we'll see what happens. But GameLogIQ, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man getting that release date and some of the information that they gave us today?
It's an interesting chess game, like you guys mentioned. So, and there might be other stuff. I'm not sure how complete this list is of releases, but October has Disgaea 7 on October 3rd, Assassin's Creed Mirage on October 13th. That's a problem because I'm definitely looking forward to playing that game. Alan Wake 2 on the 17th. So the interesting chess game to me is I may have to walk back my Starfield is going to slip prediction. Because I'd said that I'd said that the early September release date for Starfield was a softball date. Mm-hmm. That it was intentionally put that early in the holiday release schedule, right after we would have gotten, a week or two after we would have gotten Madden, so that they could slip by as much as 2 months, right, and still release in November and still say that they made holiday 2023. But with Spider-Man being in late October now, there isn't that room for them to slip. Because and somebody mentioned it in the chat. Then you're gonna have these guys. Plus, you're gonna have Call of Duty that's gonna drop sometime in late October or November.
Early November, yeah.
So I mean, they now the comment that you made last night, which is that for Xbox that whenever they're given the choice to either delay for quality or release in order to keep filling the Game Pass coffers, they should go for the delay. Mm-hmm. And so I wonder, given the way the holiday season is lining up now, if there's a push to get Starfield out, whether it needs more time or not.
Yeah, I do think that based upon their history, even though they may say otherwise, when under fire, that they typically lend on, well, we need the game at this time, regardless of the state it's in. We've seen it with other games in the past. We've seen it most recently with Redfall, but we also, not too far ago, we saw it with the release of Halo Infinite, which clearly wasn't ready and needed a whole nother year, and they chose to release it, even though they gave it a year delay. But it was like, can you imagine what that game would have been like in 2020? Like, it was beyond that ready. And then it came out in 2021 and still wasn't ready. So it's I just kind of feel like whatever that date is with Starfield, that's it. Like, I don't think they're going to move off of it, whether the game is coming in hot, whether it's polished, whatever. It is what it is. That's what's happening with Starfield, I think.
So that was my main takeaway, is that just like the chess game of release dates and who you avoid and who you look out for. It's becoming more and more constrained, right? The longer people wait to drop release dates.
Yeah. Forte, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man, Spider-Man's release date, and the other information that we found out today?
Listen, all I know is that collector's edition looks fire.
It does.
I might have to get that, and I'm not even the biggest Spider-Man fan because the costumes that come inside the collector's edition look fire with the wingsuits on them. I'm like, $239, but that is a 19-inch statue with Venom holding Miles Morales and Peter Parker, Spider-Man, by the web. I was like, this thing looks amazing.
I'm at least getting the digital deluxe with the in-game suits and
with the suits, yeah.
I'm at least getting that. Yeah.
The statue looks amazing.
It does.
But no, I will say this. I am way more interested in slow-mo. I can't tell a lie. I have found myself in a situation where I might have to go back and finish Spider-Man and Miles Morales before this comes out because I don't know what it was.
Did.
But listen, Destiny takes precedence. But listen,
go ahead.
It should because it did, and I got 10 good years out of that game. But yeah, the more and more I look
at
it
on PC, man.
I am gonna play it on PC as soon as it comes to PC.
Great. They run great on PC. Shout out to Nixes.
Yeah, Nixes. Shout out to Nixes and how they about to make that SSD sing on PC for Ratchet and Clank. It's gonna be singing. You know, this can only be done on the PlayStation because of the SSD. People gonna be running that thing on platter drives.
You being messy, man.
Hey, how did they do running on platter drives? On what we gonna say, man? What they gonna say, slow-mo? What they gonna say?
Do you think? What do you think about Spider-Man 2 coming out in October? You think it's like? Because like I think that like I saw. Remember when we were looking at it live, and I was like, you know, it looks like the gameplay looks amazing.
Amazing.
But I'm seeing some of the visual stuff that's just not quite there yet, and I was just wondering like if it's coming out in October because they really need all that time to really kind of shore up every aspect of things visually, so that it's looking the way we expect Insomniac Spider-Man game to look. Or if it's or if, you know, as people are suggesting that they was ducking Starfield. What do you think?
I don't think they were ducking Starfield, but they definitely gave Starfield a wide berth. I mean, that's 40 days, almost 45 days.
Starfield's the beginning of September, and this is coming out at the end of October. Yeah,
September 6th is Starfield, and
I mean, you can think about like something that Aram said in the chat, as well as what GameLogIQ was saying. I mean, like Call of Duty is also out there. So like actually, like what's the bigger like game that you have to deal with? Is it Starfield or Call of Duty? I would say Call of Duty.
Well, no, because Call of Duty, you already kind of know, you kind of got a metric on how much of your player base plays Call of Duty versus how much your player base is going to be on another platform playing something like Starfield. You know, they kind of got metrics on that already. They know based on all of the player population, how much of their players drop off during a week of a Call of Duty game, you know, particularly on their platform. So they kind of know that. So they probably say, well, we're not really worried about Spider-Man getting drop off due to the fact that Spider-Man is a huge IP, but they can't really quantify what Starfield might do to them because first of all, it's not on their platform. Second of all, it's also inside of a subscription service that if you have, you can literally play it without having to pay for it. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. But I don't think Sony like made the decision to avoid Starfield. I just think that the game just isn't going to be ready until October. I think if it was ready in September, they would have announced it during their own showcase, because that was kind of the one thing that was kind of funny to me is like this would have hit they had some really good announcements around it, but I think it would have hit a little bit harder if they would have said October 20th during the PlayStation showcase and not during, the summer game fest. Not saying it was terrible. I just think it would have hit better at their own showcase. But the game obviously wasn't ready at the moment for them to announce and say that was going to be the date. So I don't think
It's
that's
literally
kind of
a
what they were
week
thinking
later.
about.
I feel like I feel like they knew what the date was when they did the PlayStation Showcase. They just didn't tell us there. And
That's what I'm thinking.
They gave it to Jeff Keighley for whatever reason.
Why you give it to Jeff Keighley?
Hey, look, man.
Well, because I think I mean this is the so Keighley talks to all these guys and he does the pull, right, and works with them and negotiates for what content are they going to provide to the show. And if you're not going to provide content that makes Summer Game Fest a thing, then there's no point in you being there. And I think from a marketing perspective, all of these companies are competing against each other at Summer Game Fest, right? They're competing for airtime, they're competing for their time slot, they're competing for significance. And so I'm with SloMo. I mean, just based on the way software engineering works, I personally feel like it's highly unlikely that a week of development time moved the needle
that much
on what the projection was on when the game was going to be ready. I think they knew. The way I've been thinking about it is, the only way I think that you could analyze it, why they split it up, is look at assume that the total set of marketing information that was available for the showcase and Summer Game Fest was what you saw at the showcase and what you saw today from PlayStation, which was essentially the Spider-Man date and the Final Fantasy VII trailer, right? Then make a pick of those, what you're going to give to Keighley, because you got to give him something, and then decide if you're going to try to be significant at Summer Game Fest when you have eyes from lots of different people from lots of different platforms, right? Or hold it for your own showcase. My feeling is putting the date on their own showcase. I don't know that they would have sold more PlayStation 5s than putting the date in Summer Game Fest. So, I mean, I think it just came down to a 6 or 1/2 dozen the other. What content are we going to give to Keighley? Is, I don't know.
Yeah, you might be right. I think that's kind of a thought process on it.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. The last game show, which is also something that I saw some people complaining about. This, why was this here, but not the PlayStation Showcase? Was Final Fantasy VII.
Tired of them showing that period.
We talking about the period.
Why they keep showing that game, dude? The game is literally come out in 2 weeks.
No, not 16. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Rebirth.
They showed gameplay of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, I didn't see that. I need to go watch that.
Yeah, well, I got it showing now.
I'll watch it on your stream.
It looked.
Is it everything that we thought it would be, SloMo?
Absolutely, and it starts to ask some questions, because this is a little bit different than the original game, and it's going to get further and further different, to the point where even one of the developers said that he didn't think you would need to play Remake to play Rebirth, and I'm like, what? Like, how different is Rebirth going to be? Like, they already kind of broken Fate from the which is kind of like spoiling what happened in Remake or whatever, right? They kind of broke Fate, where they now aren't like on the whole timeline of what happened in the original Final Fantasy VII story, which is the reason why it's not really a remake. It's more of like a sequel, like Back to the Future 2 or something, right? But there are things that were said in this trailer that got me thinking that I'm not quite 100% certain on what I like. There were certain things that like Tifa said about like Cloud not being in Niflheim 5 years ago, which, of course she would feel that way because, he kind of hid who he was. He was being a Shinra soldier instead of, because he never made actual soldier then. So that he was ashamed, but so she didn't know that he was there when he was there. But like there's a comment that Sephiroth says at the end, and they show the part where Tifa, after Sephiroth lays waste to Niflheim, he in the Mako reactor, and she grabs Zack's sword and she attacks him, and he makes a comment, and I don't know whether they're doing some voiceover stuff with his voice over what we were seeing to kind of show it, but he made it. It seems like they are insinuating that Tifa is not Tifa, that he killed Tifa back then, and that she isn't really who she claims to be, which I'm thinking is more of they're kind of like trying to throw us a curveball to kind of like get speculation talking and whatnot, because this is a trailer, we don't know for certain, but I thought that was very interesting. I like that so for those who play Intermission, which was the expansion that they did after the remake, which had Yuffie and I forgot the other guy's name. Yuffie and this other guy, they introduced into the combat this synergy system where you can kind of like, you and another player on your squad can team up and do attacks, and you see that all through the gameplay they showed. You see them teaming up and doing attacks, so I think that's I wondered when I played Intermission how they would like bring that into the gameplay of the next game, and so far it looks like they did a really good job of it. Forte, I know you beat Final Fantasy VII Remake. GameLogIQ, did you play Remake at all?
I think I played it for a very small amount of time when it was in Game Pass.
You mean?
You mean the original Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whichever version it was.
Because I know some people who were about to be like, "What?
Where?
Yeah.
I was like to say, like, hold up now.
That was funny. So you're not really up on this whole what we're talking about, which is fine. Is it?
I'm not. I talked to Brap about it a little bit earlier today, and I get it. But it's. I saw people like super excited that this thing dropped, and I'm like, and I mean they didn't show hardly any gameplay, but I guess what the gameplay is if you. Well, no, yes, but the gameplay is not. I mean, so now we see them running across the map. I don't necessarily consider that really gameplay, but I mean, you know what the combat is if you played the first one, right? So I don't know that there was that much of them for their show.
The combat they showed is actual, like, it's not cutscene. Like right now with the rock thing, that's more of like a introduction to a boss kind of cutscene. But when you see Red 13 running around, when you see Barrett shooting his gun, when you see Tifa and Aerith do a team up together, all of that's actual combat. I can tell that's actual combat because you see the little like the menu stuff there on the screen too, and you see the damage being taken off, and I mean it's literally like what the combat looks like. So they did show gameplay. It's just
yeah, I didn't think it was gameplay of an amount or of significance that really like revealed anything that we wouldn't have like kind of assumed the game like. My point on this is, and look, I love people who love video games, but I know I've always thought of the Final Fantasy fandom as kind of being in that corner that's very akin to the Bethesda fandom, which is there's a lot of fervor that I don't necessarily understand, and that's fine. I don't have to understand it, but that results in things like you see this for a game that you knew was coming out, and there's some responses that make it seem like it's the second coming.
Okay, look. I will agree that Final Fantasy is not like a hit every single time. Personally, I haven't really enjoyed a mainline release of Final Fantasy since like 9. And we're on 16. So look, so like 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9, love them. I love those games. And this remake is a remake of 7, of course, and that's one of my favorite RPGs. So I'm all in on that. I feel like they definitely have. Final Fantasy VII remake is awesome, and it was great. I think a lot of the excitement for this, I can definitely understand like the whole Bethesda thing. I think, although I think Bethesda fans are a little. I'm a rankle some feathers with this one. A little delusional.
Overly forgiving.
Yes, like it's charm. Those bugs ain't charm, bro. Or like it's a lot of stuff that happens with that like that they allow with Bethesda games that like if any other developer did it, it's stone them in town square kind of time, right?
Yeah, like I don't understand the PlayStation fans who are upset about Bethesda games like being taken exclusive. I'm like, Bethesda pretty much shown that they never really cared that much about the PlayStation platform in general. Anyway, I don't really know what people are upset about. If I was going to play a Bethesda game, it damn sure wouldn't be on a PlayStation platform in the past.
But one thing I will say that's different with Final Fantasy, especially with Square when it comes to it compared to Bethesda, is that Bethesda has their game design, their format, and they stick to it. They adhere to it, and it's what their fans want, right? There's a section of Final Fantasy fans that are not happy with the direction of Square with Final Fantasy. They don't like the way the DMC style of combat that's far more action and far less what you expect from a traditional RPG when it comes to Final Fantasy 16. And they were also the same people that didn't like the combat for Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which of course Rebirth is just kind of building upon that and continuing on. So I will say that when it comes to this franchise with Square, they're more willing to take risk and to try to deliver an experience that they think that the majority of gamers will want, while also trying to keep to their roots, which I mean we'll see with 16 if they're able to achieve that or not. I think they have, but I ain't played the game yet, so what do I know? But I think with Bethesda is they're going to do what their core community wants. I feel like they know what's going to work for them, and they'll just do that. That's always how I feel about Starfield.
I've mentioned this on Brat before and other places. Like I always look at these things as, is it going to move the needle on the business that's associated? Is it going to impact the addressable market of gamers who are not me, right? My assessment of how the rest of the gaming market actually takes it up, not the gaming community, right? Because I think a thing that often gets very confused is that the gaming community, especially the gaming community on Twitter, is not the gaming market, right? Which is why 92% of the time that you see a take on gaming Twitter that attempts to trade in the areas of either the technology of the industry, software development in general, or the finances of the business is most often wrong. And then whether or not it impacts me personally as a gamer. So for me personally, this didn't do anything because I'm just not a super huge Final Fantasy fan, or I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I think the trailer was good for the Final Fantasy fandom to get to see it at the bookend of Summer Game Fest, especially after Jeff did the head fake. I think midway through the Game Fest.
It was a really crazy head fake.
And then I think this was good positioning for it from a marketing perspective for Square Enix and for PlayStation. I think it did what it needed to do. I think it, again, I go back to the thing we talked about earlier, which is, what was the choice? Do you put this in the PlayStation Showcase or Summer Game Fest? But I think 6 or 1/2 dozen the other. I think it worked as effectively here as it would have worked during the showcase. Maybe arguably a skosh more. So
yeah. I mean it's a W for Square Enix, and I would say not so for PlayStation because they didn't get a chance to put it in their show. But hey, look, Square Enix don't care where it shows up as long as eyes got on
not
it.
Really at all.
And the general sentiment is positivity. They're fine. They're happy. But that was the Summer Game Fest. I think it was better than their previous ones. I think it's probably the best Summer Games Fest that Jeff Keighley has held, which isn't saying much because I don't think the show was like super great or anything. There was definitely a lot of filler there. I was definitely starting to doze a little bit near the end, but better than the PlayStation Showcase from last week. So I can't really say.
Oh man,
it's
look at
the
you
worst,
talking
the
about
worst one that I've seen this year or anything. I know we can kind of that took like a hour and a half. So let's speed this up. Let's talk about Diablo 4.
About Final Fantasy. Hold up.
Oh, okay.
Can I give one shout too?
Okay, go ahead.
So I won't go through everything else, but I will say one, probably the most significant thing that we didn't go over was that I personally liked was Warhammer Space Marine 2.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they did show
especially given that we, depending on what happens with the showcase, we haven't heard and we don't know that we're going to see anything from Gears of War. Your prediction was that we're not going to see it anytime soon, just given where that game might be in its development cycle, and kind of how the coalition's attention is split right now. This may be the closest thing to a Gears of War that we might see for a while. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Forte, there was something you wanted to say about Final Fantasy?
Aerith is bae, and I almost love her as much as I love Miranda Lawson. That is all.
Okay.
That is all.
Let's talk about Diablo. Let's talk about Diablo.
As much as I love Final Fantasy, I can't talk about that until I actually see it. That story is so different now. It's familiar, but it's not, and that's what I love about it the most so far. But yes, Diablo. Let's talk about it.
Diablo 4 is I feel like it's got the gaming community, overall gaming community, in a stronghold. Fastest selling Blizzard game ever, which, considering their history and their pedigree their pedigree and the games that they have released in the past, that says a lot. It's been a major success for them. High quality game. I'm really enjoying it. We all are playing it. Let's discuss it. Forte, what are your thoughts on Diablo 4 after playing it for who knows how many hours?
Oh, great! It's amazing. Guess what, SloMo? You're gonna hear some blasphemous from me. Remember when I said a game of a certain caliber already won Game of the Year? Boy, oh boy, it's
you think it's different now?
Man, it might be a little different now. It's a chance. Like, look, I didn't expect Diablo. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't expect it to be this good. I didn't expect it to be this fun. I didn't expect it to captivate as many people as it has captivated to want to play this game. The fact that it's a co-op game too kind of brings a little bit more credence to the fact that a lot of people can enjoy this with friends. It's cross-platform play. It's got really good Metacritic scores, really good overall user scores. Do I think it's going to win Game of the Year? No, I still think Tears of the Kingdom is going to pull that boy out. But this being the type of game that I love and being way more invested into anything else, this game has some staying power. And the only reason I
really wish you would have said that part about Tears of the Kingdom before I sent that tweet. Because I just sent a tweet saying that Forte out here thinking that Diablo 4 is going to beat Tears of the Kingdom for Game of the Year.
No, listen, why you gonna say? See, look, I still think Tears is going to win. I just think that this game has a really good. Remember when we were talking? I don't know if it was you, but I think it was you. You said that there's a chance with all of these other games that one. No, I think it was Attic. I was talking to Attic on the Attic show, and he was like, "It's a chance that one of these games." He said, "I don't know if it's going to happen," but he was like, "Something has the opportunity." And he actually talked about Diablo. He said Diablo, from what he hears, is got a really good chance of being a really, really surprising good game to a lot of people, and that game could be the sleeper for this year when it comes to the Game of Year announcements and stuff. And I didn't expect it to be. I kind of scoffed at him, so I apologize, Addict. The game is everything that you probably thought it was going to be, and probably a little bit more. But the thing I love about this game the most, it's simplistic. It's like you can jump in, you can play with any character. Now, some characters are better to play with during certain parts of the game. So like sorcerers and rogues are better to play through the campaign because you can do everything from range and everything. And it's a little bit more palatable to get through the campaign than it is to go through slogging through with a druid, where you got to hit everything in the head up close. But you can play this game the way you want to play it. You know, the progression is really cool. Like if you jump into a party with somebody, it always keeps the save for the lowest party member in the party. So if the lowest party member plays, you know, with somebody else, it will still keep the lower save for you. So you don't have to worry about, you know, jumping in a game with your friend and losing your save progress and everything. I think it was very, very ingenious the way that they went through to like make sure that your progression doesn't get lost, even if you're playing with other people, which we know a lot of other games struggle with. That's something that they all struggle with for the most part. But weapon diversity, really good. The one thing you got to do in games like this is the loot has to rain from the heavens, and it, at no point in this game am I starving for loot. It's almost a war and attrition to figure out when do I need to go back to my stash to stash this to use on extra characters, or when do I need to start breaking stuff down. I gotta check my durability on my weapons to make sure that I'm not losing 10% every time I die. You know, it's like this balancing act that I forgot that I love so much in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 that they kind of brought back to the forefront. And I haven't really even played with other people yet. It's mostly just playing by myself and seeing people. And this is probably the one thing that I like the most. When you're running around the open world and you're not in like particular dungeons or something like that, or side quests, you just see random people in the world, because it's a shared world experience. And that wasn't the same thing that you did in Diablo, you know.
I got some smoke for that.
You said you got what?
I got some smoke for that. Although that is a nice feature, and it's cool to run into other people doing some of the same things I'm doing and whatnot. See guys just riding past me on horses. I could do without that experience, to not be waiting in queues to get into this game.
You still waiting queues? I haven't waited in the queue since day one.
Bruh, I was trying to play earlier, and it told me I had, it said, we have added you to a queue. You have 1,752 minutes to go. And I was just like, what?
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't.
I haven't. And then I haven't
seen the queue in a minute.
And I checked on Reddit, and I checked on Twitter, and people were complaining at that time about basically they've been having, and this, it was bound to happen, of course. Like, I mean, like, they were going to have server. It's an online game. Every online game, especially when it first comes out, has got issues with getting people into the game. Got issues with doing those kind of things. My whole issue is just that, like, if you wanted to play offline, could you have just provided the ability to do that? If you wanted to play solo offline, allow people to do that. If you want to play with your friends, of course, you're gonna need to get online. You're gonna need to get logged in and all that good stuff. It's just, yeah, it's been a bit frustrating for me, or at least for me on that part, because I had some time to play earlier, and I literally spent like 10 minutes waiting for it to let me in with no real explanation on what was going on. And so then I just quit, and then I had to come back and try, like, 'cause I wanted to record some gameplay for the podcast, and I had to wait and do that later on. So that's one of my little minor gripes with the game. For the most part, it's been running fine on my PC, and I'm having a great time with it. I got my Necromancer, which, like, my build is I use Decompose to drain the life out of enemies from a distance. Then I got like 4 skeleton warriors, 3 skeleton mages, and a golem that's just basically I call them my army of darkness, because I'm just like, they are handling things. And the way I spec'd out my build right now is that I'm giving them all the health, all the damage I possibly can. And whenever we deal with like a mini boss or a boss where they start to get low, I just start refreshing, bringing more in off of the dead bodies that's in the ground. And then this new thing I'm doing now is I've modified the corpse explosion ability to basically be like a darkness bomb. And so on the parts in the gameplay where you see where it just gets black and it's just like this smoke that's there, the damage over time on the enemies is ridiculous. So my build
is
is
pretty
great.
ridiculous.
My build is great. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time with the game, and this is what I expected and what I knew would come from this, because I just had confidence that they would deliver on that. And I'm enjoying the story too. I'm enjoying it fairly much. Logic, what's your thoughts on Diablo 4 so far?
Well, I'm playing on PlayStation 5, just based on a random coin flip. I'll eventually pick it up on PC as well. I'm having a good time with it. I've always had a good time with the Diablo games. I'm also playing a Necromancer. Although my shtick is I play a Necro without necessarily running around using summon all the time. Although I see you're here, you're here spamming it, doing the layman's approach, but I appreciate you.
Oh, we got shade. Hey, look, man.
Tell him about himself.
I like to surround myself with powerful individuals. Make myself feel even more powerful. I like to tell them where to go and what to do and what to destroy. So that's how
I'm having fun with it. You were showing my two nits with it so far is you were showing the skill tree a little while ago, and that's just, I mean, for me personally, again, from having spent some time doing UI design and system design, I feel like that's an eye candy approach and more form over function. It looks neat the way it's spatially laid out, but I also feel like they could have just done it. I would have preferred this. I'll especially be bothered by this when I start playing it on PC. They could have just put that in the old style, vertical pane, and squeezed a lot more information, a lot more icons on screen, and just presented more information, with mouse tip flyovers. I feel like that's a little bit of a consoleization of the design, since to accommodate people who are going to be playing it on large screen TVs, kind of sat back from the display. And there was one other UI design nit that inventory management. I think inventory management works good, again, for the way that it's laid out for the console. But it on console, what I do is, the way I've historically played Diablo, and this is a me thing, I spend a lot of time doing inventory management because I kind of insist on using like a bunch of different types of weapons. But on console, what I wind up doing is I just arm the most powerful weapon and I just leave it at that. Like I'm not bothered with using a variety of weapons and approaches, just because it would be a pain in the butt to try and manage that inventory, with the game controller. From a market perspective, I personally think the take on this being a Game of the Year contender, and I don't mean your take, Forte, but I mean from the gaming community, is overblown. I think, quite honestly, I know it's not going to be a popular opinion. People are not going to like me saying it. I think it's console players, many of whom haven't really gotten like a simultaneous release on both PC and console for a Diablo game. I'm kind of joining in that fervor, and kind of feeling overhyped for something that they haven't really gotten before, and that's drawing like Diablo is fun, but Diablo is also kind of comfort food. It's a comfort. It's hardcore and it looks like the way that it looks, but it's really kind of like a cozy game almost to a certain extent. It hits fires a lot of those dopamine centers, and does the things that it needs to do. But like Diablo 4 doesn't really do anything that's a really big long stretch beyond Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. It's a great game. I'm gonna have tons of fun playing it. The mainline campaign is like 18 hours. So I just think it's getting a lot more popularity maybe than I might think is warranted or might normally be the case. But it's a good game. I'm having fun playing it. I'm glad people are getting it, on all sorts of platforms. How has performance been for you on PS5 right now? On PS5, it defaults to 4K 60. and I've dug through the menus, but I don't see any options for, to prefer quality or performance. Again, this is the type of game that I don't know, that it's going to necessarily benefit a lot from 120 frames per second on console. And I haven't gone in and deliberately tried to strangle the PS5 to like 1440p to see if it'll bump to 120. But yeah, I mean, it looks fine. I just don't see any options for having it render any other way when you have other than it just defaulting to 4K 60.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Forte, before you go, let me get the super chat. Shout out to Enrique with a $2 super chat. Says SloMo froze a bear and split it in apart. Let's go. I played some with Enrique last night, as well as we didn't get a chance to play earlier today, but we definitely played last night. And he's got a druid, and I came in with the squad, the Army of Darkness,
the Army of Darkness,
and we was handling some things. So yeah, all right, go ahead, Forte.
No, yeah, I agree with GameLog. I didn't even kind of think about it that way, and I definitely know you were in this because people that play Diablo in the past know what this is. It's like that. It does. Those dopamines do hit real hard in this game, and I didn't think about the fact that this is literally the first time in a long time. I mean, pretty much.
No, this is the first time period that it's been a simultaneous release on PC and console. Yeah,
because I do think Diablo 3 would have had the same. I mean, probably not the same because the auction house was kind of trash back then when it first launched, and even staunch Diablo people couldn't stand the way Diablo systems were back then, and they had to do a lot of work underneath the hood to get it to where it ended up being a really, really functional, great game. But yeah, I do. Now that I think about it, yeah, man, I think a lot of the conversation is the fact that it is something that people are experiencing for the first time. Diablo has always been a great franchise, but people either just skipped over 3 because it was just a game that they said, oh, Diablo 3 is coming to consoles finally, but there's really no hype or fanfare behind it because it's already been a game that's been out on the PC platform, and if you really wanted to play it, you would have just played it over there. Now that it's actually on console, you're hearing a lot more buzz, people going on and playing it and seeing exactly what the game is like. The one thing that I do, and like I said, it's all quality of life stuff that I think that really makes this game stand apart from a lot of others, because it's real simple, but the respecking in this game, just literally you're not tied to any build. Yeah. Like you can literally just go in, move stuff around, and then if you want to take points away from something or just reset your whole talent tree, you can. And it's
without a penalty or you being punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, the penalty is you paying gold. You pay gold to do it.
But like, I think like my first 2 or 3 times respecking my build, I didn't get charged anything. But the last time I did it, I got charged like $5K or something like that. Something small.
But at a certain point, you're going to have something. The one thing people probably don't realize about Diablo is once you get to the end game and you beat the campaign and you really want to respect and change your characters and stuff, you're going to be swimming in so much gold. Gold ain't going to be an issue. So the fact that they only charge you to respec for gold is pretty much a nothing thing. Now, this is the thing that's going to interest me the most. Once seasons start, how many people are going to be saying the same thing when your seasonal character becomes the new character and you have to level that character up in order to play get the new abilities, the new content, and you're basically willing to leave your old character in the non-seasonal model, because that's what they do in Diablo. So the characters we're playing with right now are the characters that they're going to be like our forever characters. And then they're going to break it up.
And then when they have seasons, you just take a fresh character. Yeah.
You take a fresh character, go through the seasonal stuff, and then you get all the seasonal gear, all the seasonal benefits and everything. And that stuff doesn't hit your non-seasonal character until that next season hits. So it's pretty much like how Paragons work. It's like your Paragon levels from the previous season will kind of bleed over to your non-seasonal seasons after the season is over, just so you always feel like you're getting progression on your old characters and stuff. I want to see how people react to the fact that they got to redo stuff however long Diablo seasons go. Is that same excitement going to be there to say, oh, I want to try this new build. They got this new cool ability that's going to be for the druid, and I want to jump in there and see what that's like. But I have to do it on a seasonal character, and I'm not getting those benefits on the character I put 100 hours into until the season is over. That's where I think a lot of people are going to really catch what Diablo is truly about at that point. But for the people that are, into all that stuff, this is great. I can't wait till the seasonal model comes, but we'll see how people feel once that starts happening, which I think next month is when I forget the date, but they announced next month being the date for the first season officially started, because they want to give people a chance to beat the campaign, get as high level as they can, experience some of the in-game stuff right now before they hit you upside the head and said, okay, time for you to start new seasonal characters. But that doesn't mean you don't have to. You don't have to stop playing with your regular characters. You just don't see none of the benefits of the new stuff in the game unless you start seasonal characters, and that's what I'm waiting to see how people react to that.
And one of the things I'll mention too, to get this buzz and to get this hype, Blizzard has leaned very heavily on marketing shenanigans to get.
Yes,
here.
they have.
And I say that like as a derogatory statement, but as a case study, like it's been a masterclass in marketing to a certain extent. Like they lean heavily on this thing that World of Warcraft players have done of their own accord. Wasn't anything that Blizzard prompted them to do, but Blizzard leaned on that and prompted players and said, "Hey, do your race to 100," right? And that's what caused a lot of the fervor and the buzz. And look, man, the Megan Fox ad, like that's gold. They did a good job dropping that one. So it's got a lot of buzz here in the launch window, and like Forte said, it's going to be interesting to see if it continues.
Right.
You can make that Megan Fox video an ad campaign, and that'll keep a lot of it going. But we'll see how the grind goes.
Quick question for you guys before we switch over. Do you guys think that this game will be one of the nominees for Game of the Year at the end of the year? Or you're like Forte, where you think you might actually have a shot at winning?
I think it'll get in there. I don't think it's gonna win though. I think the long-lasting appeal of the game is going to kind of fall off for people the longer the game is out, compared to games like Starfield that's probably going to be in there, which is going to be the hype is going to be the realest when Starfield comes, because it comes out in September. You're going to be still in that window of excitement by the time that the votes get casted for that game. But I think Zelda's going to be that game that's going to kind of just permeate and live on throughout the whole entire year. But Diablo, I think, will be there. I just don't think it's gonna do anything crazy at it, even though I feel like this is probably the best version of Diablo they ever made.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get squeezed out. I don't think it'll get into the GOTY category. I think it'll definitely get into, and I don't know the game. I don't know the TGA award categories like the back of my hand, because they get weird.
It's usually
on
6.
Some ones.
6
well,
games.
but I was going to say, I think it'll get into the RPG of the year or whatever genre thing it drops into. But I think it'll get squeezed out of GOTY, because you got Tears of the Kingdom, you got Final Fantasy, you'll have Starfield, you'll have Spider-Man. That's 4. You're going to have a, dare I use the term, token indie. So that's 5.
Oh no, you're right.
That's what I call it.
At least one slot, and I just. From the way that we're seeing things get inserted into the remainder of the year lineup that we didn't know were coming, I'm just gonna lean on that one slot is gonna wind up getting taken up from somebody else.
Yeah, could be Jedi Survivor. Could be something else that's coming out later this year that is people are looking into, but it could turn out to be really, really big. But yeah, Diablo 4 is awesome. I'm enjoying it. and a lot of people are. We're gonna move on to another game that a lot of people aren't enjoying right now, and that's Halo Infinite.
Oh,
So
man.
Halo Infinite Season 4 drops June 20th, I think, or the 19th, one of those. And so Season 4 is coming, and with Season 4 is Infection Mode, which should have been there at launch. But additionally, a career rank is also being implemented, where initially it was thought of that it would have a daily cap to progression on career rank, which so glad that wasn't true, because that would have been really stupid of them. But there is no cap for the career rank progression, and all three of us here have enjoyed some Halo Infinite, so I thought it would be a good, nice little topic, a little change up, you know, to discuss this game and it's multiplayer future with this Season 4. Logic, you probably have played it, definitely have played it more than Forte has. But what are your thoughts about Season 4 and the career rank?
I don't really have any. I made my decision to part ways. So, I mean, I've noticed the news go by my windshield, but I haven't had enough interest to dig into it deeply.
Cool. So that it doesn't interest you enough to pull you back in or anything like that.
It as marketing content does not. I will say the only thing that's tempted me to come back is nostalgia. I was watching one of my live streams of our matches when we used to play together.
Yeah.
With Brap and stuff today, and I was like, oh, man, those were such good times. But that's been nothing done by 343 or Xbox themselves.
Right.
But yeah,
I got some clips of that from on my TikTok. Remember, it was actually all four of us. It was the three of us and Enrique, and we won that one Team Slayer match where we came back. I think the other team had like 49 and we had like 42.
Whew.
And was
that what the guys started teabagging, so we got angry and came back?
Not that one. That
Okay.
was actually we destroyed that team like 50-30 or something like that because they were teabagging. But no, this was another match we were losing the entire time, but we weren't losing by a lot. And then we came back, and it's like I actually posted it on my TikTok because it was such an epic comeback. Because we didn't allow them to get any kills until I think one guy killed me right at the end. But we had just got 50 right before then. But I always remember it because you screamed Chick-fil-A randomly out of nowhere after you like headshot somebody, and it was just the funniest thing in the world. But no, just like the multiplayer in this game is good. The gunplay is good. It's solid. It's the best gunplay 343's ever done. It's just the problem is that like the game should have came out when it came out. The content wasn't there, and they're slowly bringing stuff in, but it's just like the community is so small at this point. I bet. Go ahead. You were about to say something.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Where I fell off and where I dropped Halo Infinite. I mean, to a greater extent, Xbox in general was it didn't make the successful transition to game as a service. It was. I mean, I just got out of Xbox entirely a month ago. So about a month ago, in the midst of Season 3, we hadn't been given an end date for Season 3, and I was in matches, and I was still playing, right? Even when you guys weren't, I was still playing. I was in matches middle-ish of Season 3, and I was getting cycled in with the same players.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 matches out of 4 within an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that communicates to me that they haven't done whatever it was that a business would have needed to do to have a player base in here, right? That keeps the numbers up and drives the engagement, right? That it needs to be. So I mean, there's some very skinny possibilities that I would ever get back in, but right now I'm out.
Got you. Forte, your thoughts on season 4 and career rank?
Too little, too late, man. I saw when I looked at that and I was like, man, these career ranks look cool. But I said, where was this 7 months ago, 8 months ago, shoot, a year ago? You know, it's like at a certain point, it's like, ain't nobody looking for Halo. That's the problem. Halo's supposed to be a game that you're supposed to be like, when the new season drops, you should be excited. But they didn't allow the player base to erode so much to the point where the only people that really play the game are the super hardcore. And let's be for real, Halo's not one of those games that you just, you know, jump back into and you right where you left off at. You know, there is a little nuance to that kind of gameplay. If you're good at shooters, you're good at shooters, but you still got to get back into it. And sometimes you just don't want to do that.
I think it's the fairest first-person shooter that's out there.
Oh, it absolutely is. If you put the time in, you will be great at that game. It's not about, you know, it's not about overall how much you play it. It's just that if you're just consistent in the things that you do in that game, you will be successful in that game. But the thing is, you will hit a wall.
Knowing the maps, knowing how to play the game.
That's it.
It's not necessarily, and there's no shade against other first-person shooters, but like, you know, like you'll see, like there's some first-person shooters where there's progression for and third-person shooters too, just shooters in general, where weapon progression and unlocking of attachments and the ability to tune things can really give people an advantage over, especially if you know what you're doing, over your you know the people that you're going up against. And in Halo, it's just nah. You know, we doing this mode and everybody's starting with the same gun, same weapon. Now, you know, of course there are power-ups and special weapons throughout the map that, you know, you can fight over. But if you want to dominate, well, you better learn how to be good with a battle rifle. You better learn how to be good with the tools that everyone else has that are no different, not tuned any different. They are exactly the same as everyone else's. So I've always looked at it as like it's like first person shooter. Really, I mean, I played Doom before this, but I don't really care about Doom. This Halo is it for me. It's my, so I'm always going to kind of play it, but it's unfortunate that like it's just it's not in a place where I always kind of feel like it doesn't matter what they do, this game isn't going to get anywhere near the player base that it had at launch back. And I think the game that they have right now, if they launch this game as it is right now at launch, it would have a ton of people still playing it. Not everybody, but it would still have a lot of people still playing it.
Well, let me ask about the career ranks. Does the career ranks essentially instantiate something that is similar to Prestige in Call of Duty?
Yes, except with Prestige, it goes away after a season, and with career rank in Halo Infinite, it's never going to go away. It's kind of like like remember with was it Halo 3 or Halo Reach? One of
it's
them,
Halo 3 that had the progression with the crescent moon and the moon. Like if you hit level 50, you got those emeralds to that, and you had to fight to keep that level. So the way they're doing it is, you still have, you know how they had the divisions before, you know, Onyx, Platinum, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They still have that, but what they're doing now is they're associating. But what they're that's for rank. So what they're doing now
after a season.
And that goes after wait for a season. But what they're doing now is they're associating your overall ranking in the same way where you get Onyx, Platinum, and everything. But now you get emblems that is tied to your character.
And everyone can see it. Anyone looks at your character, they see your emblem, they know what your rank is.
They know that you're even though you may be an Onyx player and let's say, you know, rank, you never could see that unless you were playing against people that was in rank. But now they'll have that same progression in just regular quick play, Team Slayer, and everything like that, where you can see your overall ability against other Guardians, and then your emblem changes. And it's like it has the same like style of emblem for like the highest version of General, but it changes ever so slightly to get a little bit more pronounced the higher in Onyx and Platinum and stuff you get. And then so you could be a general of Platinum, but that's not the same as being a general under Onyx. And Onyx General is the highest rank you can get in the game, which is the top tier. So I like that they're doing that, but I just feel like it's too late. Only the people that gonna care about this are the people that still playing the game, honestly.
Yeah. You may be able to pull some of the people who aren't playing it but are playing the Master Chief Collection off of the Master Chief Collection back, but that's also a small, like, really, like, they kind of, like, I mean, they're like maybe slightly smaller than the Halo Infinite community, or maybe the same size, so it's not much of, like, that's not really the people that you want to come back. You want the people you want the 250,000 people who were playing the multiplayer at launch to come back and give it a shot, which is, it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
I want my kids and my kids' kids to come back.
All right, next up is kind of something that I threw in here at the last second because it's something that happened literally maybe an hour or hour and a half before we went live. And that is Atlus, who makes the Persona games and Shin Megami Tensei RPGs as well. Atlus kind of had a mistake, a whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
They accidentally launched the Persona 3 Reload trailer on Instagram by accident, a little too early. Definitely a couple of days early, because it looks like this game will be in Game Pass at launch. And so in the trailer, you'll see that it doesn't even show PlayStation at all, which not saying it's not coming to PlayStation, which really just tells me this was supposed to be a reveal for the Xbox showcase on Sunday. And I guess they missed somebody who handles Atlus on Instagram, mistimed or got the dates wrong or something with and it launched a little early. So, but Persona 3, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal are all on Game Pass right now, as well as on PC and I think on Switch as well, and on, of course, on PlayStation. This 3 Reload, which is a remaster of Persona 3 Portable, it looks like it will be on everything, but it looks good. I mean, I like Persona. I played through 5 twice. I'm at the end of 4, and I just never have the time to finish it. I'll probably finish it sometime this year, but I like these games, and only thing I'm a little upset about is this isn't coming out until early 2024. But what are your thoughts on it, Logic? I don't know if you ever played the Persona games, and I don't recall talking to you about them. Do you like the Persona games?
I'm not a big JRPG fan, but I do like tactical RPGs, tactical squad-based RPGs.
Mm-hmm. Like Fire Emblem, yeah.
Yeah, the Persona games are a weird mix, right? So I like them for the tactical RPG elements, but then I fall off sometimes when the JRPG, dialogue gets a little too long-winded and things like that. I did play Persona 3 Portable when I was in Game Pass. I really liked it just from one of my favorite series. I think you and Luca and I think we've been in similar threads where I've one of my favorite shows was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
And just
love Buffy. Yeah.
Persona 3 Portable kind of gives me those vibes. It feels like the Scooby Gang in the library, in some of those scenes. So yeah, I had fun with those. It's I think it's a great series. And any time Xbox or PlayStation, has a with one of these, I think it's a good thing that could potentially move the needle for fans of the series. So it's good that they'll all be getting it.
Yeah. And shout out to Miles in the chat, said that Gamatsu confirmed that it will be on PS4, PS5, and Switch. So it's basically gonna be on every relevant platform that's out there, which is good. I think these games are high quality games, and they need. I'm glad that they're not just on the PlayStation platform now. Atlus. I remember maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, when they put Persona 4 Golden on PC and saw that it sold like 2 million copies almost immediately. They were just like, "Oh, people want to play our games outside of Japan, outside of PlayStation? Like, yeah, fool. Like, what are you talking about? People been waiting for you to do this for so long." So like now it seems like they get it, and now they're just gonna start putting their games everywhere. Although we haven't seen Persona 6 yet, which we know is in development. And that might still end up being timed exclusive to PlayStation. But I mean, I guess we'll see. Forte, what are your thoughts on this? Paging Forte.
Paging Forte. Jesus Christ. Forte's here. Did you see the leaked image that they had of I forget who it was, but it was on Twitter where they were showing like all of the nice little icons of all the games that were going to be shown at the showcase. And in the bottom right hand corner, it was a picture of Persona 3 Portable, or Persona 3 at the bottom. And the reason that a lot of people thought it was fake is because they used the old logo for Portable instead of whatever the new logo is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to think that thing might have been a little bit not fake now, man, because a lot of the stuff that was on that list is starting to come to fruition. So, no, I think this is great. I actually did. That was like one of the few Personas I did play when I did play it on PlayStation, and I really, really enjoyed it. But I think a lot of people are probably just shocked. Like, now Phil Spencer put a lot of work when he went to Japan. Got a lot of those deals inked in. Got a lot of studios willing to bring their games over to Game Pass. Outside of PlayStation and Nintendo, you Atlus. I think the only games that I remember, Atlus only did like Catherine on the 360, and then they also did Persona Arena, which was the fighting game that they did on Xbox 360.
They also did 5 Strikers, which is like
Strikers they did too. Yeah.
How do you describe that combat? It's not necessary. I mean, I guess action RPG ish, but it's hard to describe. I think it was a bit polarizing. Some people liked it, some people hated it. I do think the story is good. I gotta go back and finish Strikers, by the way. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the game now because I don't want to forget, because I keep forgetting to go back and finish it because I was like halfway through it. But I guess we can go ahead and get to our last topic of the night. But it's good to see that topic, because this is something that we're probably going to end up seeing at the showcase, because this is exactly where, as you mentioned, that it was supposed to be revealed. But Xbox has their annual showcase this Sunday on the 11th. As I said earlier, I will be on the road and trying to keep up with things and watch it while I'm also traveling to the beach. But yeah, the show is I'll say highly anticipated by a lot of people. A lot of people are eagerly waiting to see if Xbox is going to fall on their face again, or whether they're going to actually deliver on any of the hype and anticipation that people are looking for. I thought maybe we could do this because like everyone does a predictions thing, and they're just like, oh, I predict blah blah blah. I predict that Phil's gonna come out and he's gonna have. It's just like whatever, right?
He's gonna do the water boy. You can do it.
No, I feel like just cut the bull. Let's get down to, are these games that we've been waiting on going to be there or not? And so that's how I kind of want to look at it. And in that case, let's start with State of Decay 3. Okay.
No. No.
Okay, immediately Forte says no. Why is State of Decay 3 not going to be there, Forte?
Because that game, because I pay a lot of attention to what Phil Spencer says in a lot of these different interviews. Because remember, Slow-Mo, you always say Phil Spencer does way too many interviews and he talks way too much. And the one thing he ain't never mentioned was State of Decay 3. In all of these interviews, he ain't said, he done said Hellblade.
We gonna get the chat involved in this too.
He done said a bunch of games, Slow-Mo, at these things. He said, I'm super excited to sell this and that. But guess what? The one game he ain't said State of Decay.
I'm gonna ask the chat. See what the chat says. So Forte is a no. Logic, is State of Decay 3 gonna be at the showcase?
I'll say no.
No. What is your reasoning
Slow-Mo,
behind
is
your
State
no?
of Decay gonna be there?
Hold on, you go get there.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know you was gonna ask a follow-up question. Sorry.
What's your reasoning behind it? What's your logic behind your logic?
Logic.
I'll go with Forte. Remind me which studio is doing this again?
Undead Labs.
This is the problematic studio where the former CEO and wife like took off to like the Caribbean and were like phoning in, to status meetings and acting like they were paying attention. But so where I'm gonna go with in general, because there's a lot here that I don't care about. Like, I don't want to say I don't care about, but like I have some very skinny, very narrow options where this whole showcase will move the needle for me. So I'm gonna go on record and let you know that I'm gonna vote any studio that has been problematic. I'm just gonna say that their game's not gonna be there.
Okay, cool. I'm also gonna agree that for those reasons that this game is not gonna be there, and the reason why I even put it in there because that they showed this very cinematic but yet completely not game related whatsoever CG trailer that I will at least say for this, that it's a CG trailer where you understand, even if you didn't know what State of Decay was, period, you get the gist of what's going on. It's survival, there are zombies out there, zombie deer eating regular deer, that kind of stuff. So you understand what the premise of the game is. It's not like Concord where you don't know, if you didn't know, didn't read a blog, you don't know what the heck the game is, right? But State of Decay, I like State of Decay 1. I didn't like State of Decay 2 that much. But State of Decay 3, like, they have said that they want to really make it AAA this time. They really want to try to hit the same level of visual fidelity that we see in the trailers. And then we hear all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. I don't think that we're going to see this game for a while. I'm thinking probably wouldn't even see this game in next year's showcase. So I'm gonna say no. I don't think we're gonna see that. And 90% of y'all also agree. I'm sorry, 89% of you guys agree that State of Decay 3 will not be at the showcase.
Those are smart people.
Well, it's our chat, so of course they're smart. Next game though, I think might have a different result. Actually, I'm fairly certain to have a different result. Forza Motorsport was supposed to already be out by now, according to their last show, where everything here you see will be coming out in the next 12 months. But wrong. That didn't happen. And we don't have a release date for Forza Motorsport whatsoever. But I'm fairly certain it's going to come out this year. Do we see this game at the showcase for Forte? Yes, and
the game's going to get a release date. Not hopefully, it will, and it's coming out in November.
Wow. Okay. Where'd you get?
It's coming out in November. I feel like even knowing racing games and other games kind of can coexist with each other. I think that they kind of learned their lesson from from Forza Horizon and cut off the knees of Motorsport. Of Horizon, even though Horizon still did pretty well on its own by itself. They did cut off his knees with Halo, with a game that didn't even deserve to be coming out at the time that it came out. But I don't think they're going to do that when it comes to Starfield, because Forza's traditionally usually come out in September, and they got Starfield in September. And I think still Sensor wants to get that ball rolling on a game probably not every quarter, but at least 3 games in a year. And I think you're going to get Forza in November to give a little bit of space between Starfield and Halo. It could come out in late October, but I'm thinking early November, because I do think that games like Hellblade is going to come out in the first quarter of next year in 2024, which is going to be like February or March. So I think Forza is going to fall this year, but it's going to fall in November.
Okay.
I probably answered 2 of your questions, but because I already know you're going to ask one about the one I just mentioned, but go ahead.
You're likely right. Logic, what do you think about Forza Motorsport?
I'm gonna say no.
No.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Stop
What
it.
has Turn 10 did? Turn 10 ain't did nothing.
Well, man, you just opened up a whole damn can of
What did Turn 10 do? I can understand if you said. I need to know, what did Turn 10 do to you?
Let me first ask the question, because I do want to be hyper specific. So the trailer that you're showing on stream right now, SloMo, is that the January showcase, 2023?
No, I think this is from a few years back.
No, I think this is the 2021 showcase.
Yeah. Yes, from
or E3.
Okay, because it flashed up coming spring 2023. I thought this was the June 2022 showcase.
It might be. I just did a search on my drive for Forza Motorsport footage and just grabbed the first thing that came up. So I did. Yeah, it says coming spring 2023. So this probably is from last year's showcase. Yeah.
Okay, because I think in January what they splashed on screen was just 2023.
Right.
Because I would even matter now if they had said spring. What has Turn 10 done? So the problem is that we don't know. What we do know, and I put this in my Twitter feed, and I was kind of surprised that a lot of people, including a lot of Xbox fans, were acted like they were kind of unaware, but I've been on very much that I've in the past I've praised the Forza series in Turn 10 and Playground for the consistency of delivery of Forza. And it kind of caught me off guard that when I posted this information, it seemed like people were unaware. So the former release cadence of the Forza series from 2005 to 2017 was that you would get Forza Motorsport, and then you would get Turn 10 doing the engine, and then you would get Forza Horizon the following year.
Sure was.
So from 2005 to 2017, that was the battle rhythm, which would result in you getting sometimes 3, 4, maybe 5 iterations of a Forza title per console generation, right? Somewhere between 3 and 5.
Hint where Forza Gears and Forza came from.
Right. So the problem I have is that battle rhythm obviously slipped as we went into this generation. Based on that battle rhythm, based on that cadence, there should have been a Forza Motorsport at launch of the Series XS. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't. And there wasn't any commentary to that. Now, a lot of people would constantly throw back up in my face, oh, well, COVID. Well...
Oh no! I thought they said they were getting out of that cadence because they wanted to update Forza tech.
So the only thing that I heard and registered, I never heard any causality behind it. Mm-hmm. I know that the engine needed to be. I know that the engine was being used for Fable. Mm-hmm. All I recall is that there was a span of time where I heard nothing, and then there was a year that they came up and they said after the launch of the Series X that the Turn 10 team had started on, I think 2021 was when they took to the stage and said that they started on Forza, and I'm like, started? What do you mean? They should have. You would theoretically think that they would have started after the last version came out, mm-hmm. when obviously the internal Xbox studios would have had the Series XS dev kits.
Right.
So my point is that in my mind, the title would have normally been there at launch had the cadence been maintained. It's been 3 years since the launch, and there's really not been any understanding that I've been able to glean on why they are where they are. And so again, remaining consistent with the way I said that I was going to vote, any studio that has had any indication to me that there's some problem going on or there's something problematic, this is it. And then you couple that with what I've been on about, most recently, which is 2022 took to the stage, said everything that we're going to be playing, we would be playing within 12 months. You come into the January showcase, you skate by the fact that that's what you said in June, and you flash up on the screen coming sometime 2023. You still have no date right now, several months, 6 months after that showcase. And again, as I said, as I had been saying before, they hadn't delivered on the 12-month plan. Spencer seems to constantly come up in interviews after I've said this and keep getting heat for it and then corroborating what I've said, right? Then he comes up in the interview last month and says, yeah, we didn't deliver on the 12-month plan. So my prediction to remain consistent is that because we already know what Forza Motorsport is, there's nothing to do for them other than to announce a release date. There's no point in them showing us any demo of its technology. I don't know what that would achieve. I think what they'll claim is that the team is hard at work, making sure that they make the release date, and that they're just going to provide us the release date.
So you don't think they'll do a trailer with a release date? Because I think if they show the game at all, talk about the game, and then say Forza Motorsport's coming out in November 14th, right? Then I would say that would be it being there.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is them showing me a trailer doesn't give me any increased confidence one way or the other that it's going to make the date.
Gotcha. Okay. But you think that it probably will in some shape or form be there. It just won't be anything substantial, and it's just really just to give us a date that might or might not happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's any point in doing a bunch of hoopla about Forza Motorsport. Other than to set the release date.
Cool. And the chat, I think, largely agrees with us. Thinks 85% think that the game will be at the showcase. Next game. Okay, I'm sorry for laughing like that.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Okay. Look. This one is going to. Don't judge me for putting this game up here, okay?
Okay, I'm definitely gonna judge you now.
Everwild, okay? So is
no.
Can I finish my sentence?
No. Go ahead, finish your sentence.
Is Everwild going to be? Look, I heard they know what the game is now.
Okay, sounds good.
Is Everwild going to be at the showcase? Forte says no.
That game is. It won't even be called Everwild by the time this game comes out.
Logic. What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
You know why he says yes? Because they didn't wrong him.
No, because Rare is a quality developer, and I think now that they know what the game is, they're going to show it at the showcase, and it's going to be a point to it, and we're going to know what the game is.
Yeah, I think Rare, after Sea of Thieves, and you can have whatever opinion you have about Sea of Thieves, I think Rare has shown a thing that I often refer to with development studios of they've shown stick-to-itiveness, right? Which is they've faced adversity, they've stared it down, they've turned that game around. It has a ton of positive buzz about it, and I think that all results in that studio having a ton of creative confidence right now. I mean, really, when you kind of look at the Xbox studios and you look at like who you would have confidence in a weird way, I would put Rare very close to the top right now in terms of the way in comparison to the way the other studios are performing. And I think that's going to result in them, having their moxie up to let us know what they're doing with Everwild.
That has swayed you, Forte?
I mean, I could get behind it just for the fact that it's Rare. It's just that when I hear the word Everwild, I just can't get over the fact that they literally gave us a trailer with magical
two trailers,
deers. Two trailers with magical deers and campfires, and didn't even know what the game was about.
Right. I mean, and there's word that it's going to be more like Viva Pinata, which you know, some people are like yay, and some people are like I thought it would be more of a survival game or I'm just like, who knows? Because they didn't know what the game was supposed to be, so why would we know? I think that I think the game will be there. I think it'll be a shock to be there. Will it be gameplay? No. It'll be some kind of CG mixed with no. It'll just all be in engine. It'll be an in engine trailer because what Aaron Greenberg said is that when you do see CG, it will be a mix of CG with gameplay, and I don't think that they are far enough to show gameplay yet. So I don't think it'll have gameplay. But looks like the poll has closed, and 41% believe Everwild will be there, with 33% saying no, and 25% saying ha. Which is I really just threw that in there because I accidentally added a third option and didn't feel like deleting it. So yeah.
Dare you?
Next game, I actually kind of feel like we all will be in agreement on this. But
did they wrong him at some point?
I don't think Obsidian has ever wronged anybody. But Avowed. You guys, Forte, you think Avowed will be there at the show?
I do think Avowed will be at the showcase because I think it's they did show a little bit of gameplay when it came to a hand of power with purple coming out of it. Mm-hmm. So I do think I still
don't think that was real gameplay. I think that was just a scripted little thing to show you what gameplay would look like.
What it looks like, yeah. They're working on 2 different games. They're working on Outer Worlds 2. And are working on Avowed. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those studios that, you know, they show a pretty cool teaser trailer and they just started development not too long ago, still pre-production when it comes to Outer Worlds. And I think they are coming really, really close to being ready to release Avowed, because I think Avowed is going to come out either sometime towards the beginning of, I think it's going to be the middle of next year. So it's going to be like that's August like type spring game or spring game or something. Mm-hmm. So I do think we're going to see that at the showcase because I think Microsoft's going to show at least one game from all of their studios that have multiple projects in the works, because a lot of those studios are either coming back around from games that they made, like if you're talking about In Exile and stuff like that, and all these other studios. So I think you're going to start seeing games for the studios that have multiple projects in play. And I think Avowed is going to be the one you're going to see from Obsidian.
Ooh, Logic, what do you think?
Yep, I think Avowed will be there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be there. I think there was talk that there was a playable build out there that some people in media had already played before. So I think it's definitely going to be there. I think we'll get. This would be the one that's going to be like, is there CG cutscenes in the trailer, but also will be gameplay. I think this would be that one that kind of shows a mix of both, because it's not close enough where you're going to get like a whole bunch of stuff going on about it, because it's probably going to come out next year. But yeah, I do think it would be there, and 87% of the chat also agrees that it will be there. Next we have, look at my list here. I think Forte already answered this one, but we're gonna talk about it anyway.
Let's do it.
Hellblade 2. So I actually believe not only will Hellblade be there, but I believe Hellblade will open the show. I believe Hellblade will see gameplay. We'll finally see combat. And I believe it'll be the first thing we see at the show, and we'll also get a release date for it. That's my thoughts. It'll start out that way. Release date's going to be like, I don't know. I don't know what release date's going to be. I think they want it to be late this year for it to still come out this year, but I don't know whether it actually will or not. But we're definitely gonna get a release date for the game, gameplay, basically everything. That's my thoughts. Logic, what do you think?
I'm gonna ask if I can pass. And you go to Forte.
All right, Forte, what do you think?
I have a question for you, SloMo.
Oh my gosh, can someone just answer?
Yeah, I got a question for you, SloMo.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me when is Forza coming out.
Oh, I don't know, man.
When do you think it's coming out? No one knows. We're not.
It's a simulation racer. I don't really kind of feel like. I don't feel like you need to worry about. Oh, we can't fit it in here or here because it might steal players from this game. Or I feel like the races are just so separate. I think they could release it whenever it's ready. And since they thought it would be ready earlier this year, it wouldn't surprise me if it drops like in August or September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now ask me the question one more time.
Will Hellblade be at the showcase?
Yeah, it'll definitely be at the showcase, but ask me the question you really want to know.
No, that's what he talked about.
That's all you want to know is it going to be at the showcase? Yes, it'll be at the showcase.
So what's this question you think I wanted to ask?
When is it coming out?
Oh, you already said later this year.
I say later this year.
Oh no, you said early next year, right?
I said early next year because I said Forza is coming out this year in November. So
the people who care about this game
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, man.
No, listen. That game. Okay, you gotta. Okay, we're thinking about Microsoft here. Microsoft wants to make as many people. How many people? First of all, GameLogIQ. He canceled. First of all, he sold his Xbox Series X, as he should if he's not going to take advantage of the system anymore. Mm-hmm. He canceled his Game Pass subscription. Is that all? Are those all things that are correct, sir, Mr. Logic, sir? Hamp.
That is correct.
So do you know things that could? Now I'm not saying that Hamp will want these games. I'm not saying that he wants to play Forza Horizon and he wants to play Hellblade and Starfield. But these are the games that some people want to play, and if there are other people out there that canceled their subscriptions, like Mr. GameLogIQ here has, you would think that means why would I want to give you Starfield in September, Forza in November, and then also give you Hellblade in November too? I can space that out, and as long as
I'm telling you. They do not view racers the same way they view the other genres.
They don't have to view the games the same. It's about having content that is substantial enough to make people come back to the service months later. So if I have Forza and Forza comes out in November, people are going to stay in Game Pass because they want to try Forza.
No, they definitely it's race. No one wants to try Forza Motorsport unless you like simulation racers.
How much? Okay, are you sure about this?
Except for the 20-something million people that tried Forza Horizon 5.
Exactly.
That's not a simulation racer. No, that's an arcade racer. That's different.
It's still got the word Forza behind it.
That doesn't matter.
Slow-mo. We're talking about people that are in a service that already subscribe to the service. They're going to try the game because it's coming to the service and it has the name Forza in it. So why would you look, in your eyes, you're saying
you are not cannibalizing anything.
No. You're not. I'm not saying you're cannibalizing one game over the other. You're cannibalizing an opportunity to keep people subscribed for one extra month. Because guess what's going to happen? Hellblade is a one-time play. I don't think it's going to have a multiplayer component to it.
Single player game.
Yeah, exactly. So once you beat Hellblade, let's say Forza comes out in November, and then Hellblade comes out 2 weeks or a week later, towards the middle end of November before Thanksgiving. So that means you basically took two of your biggest games of that year, put them in the same month. Now I'm not saying that I wouldn't love that, because I would love it as a gamer, because I want to play Hellblade, sooner than anything else on this list.
I got a question for you.
But in Microsoft's eyes, why would I give you those two games that I know that most of you are going to subscribe for both of them, and you're going to play both of them? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Okay.
Why? Let's say Hellblade 2 is coming out late November, and let's say Forza Motorsport's coming out early November. Let's say there's 2 weeks in between their release dates. Okay. Let's go by your logic. Let's say that just because it's in Game Pass, that people are going to give it a shot just because it's called Forza and it's in Game Pass. Do you think it's going to take them longer than 2 weeks to realize this is not the kind of racer that Forza Horizon is? I don't want to do all this tuning. I don't want to do any of this stuff. And how long do you think it's going to take people who aren't into simulation racers to uninstall the game?
Okay, and SloMo, I'm going to ask you this one more time.
You answer my question. How long is it going to take for them to?
If they're not into it,
they're not into it.
But
how are you cannibalizing any?
No, SloMo. I'm going to ask you this one more time. When I pay for my Game Pass subscription for the month of November, do I have it for the whole month of November?
Yeah.
If I pay for Game Pass for the month of December, do I have it for December? Same thing for January. Same thing for February, right?
Okay.
Right, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But if I give you 2 games of that quality, I hate arguing this point, because I don't want this as a gamer. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking Microsoft is going to be thinking about. In my opinion, I think that they're going to be like, we need to we're not going to make you wait 5 months to get Hellblade. We're not just going to give it to you in the same month that we did Halo. Because as much as you're talking about that right now, we talked about how Forza Horizon is still a racing game. Yes, it's a more popular racing game because it's not the simulation style track based that Motorsport is, but it still hurt Horizon when they released Halo Infinite and within a week of it. 1 week later, they gave you the multiplayer for free.
You cannot say, I understand it's not a simulation racer, but then let me go use this as an example.
It still hurts.
Because it's a different kind of game.
But it still hurt the game that we're talking about.
It's not Motorsport. It's a different kind of game.
Oh my God.
Let me ask you guys this.
It still hurt the game though.
It's the month of November. So I feel like one thing that needs to be taken into consideration is Black Friday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When lots of consoles are going to be sold, lots of Game Pass subscriptions are going to be sold at discount, hopefully, theoretically.
Yeah, right. But okay.
Which game sells more Black Friday Xboxes and creates more of a ramp into the remainder of holiday season into February? Forza Motorsport or Hellblade?
Neither.
Hellblade.
Neither.
You gotta choose one, man. Which one does more?
Starfield would do that.
That's not one of the choices.
No, but okay.
Starfield comes out in September. That curve is going to be on a downward trend by November.
Right.
I don't know that Starfield sells a lot of Black Friday Xboxes.
Which game did they show immediately after showing the console?
All right, which game are they going to have a bundle for? That's the question.
They ain't having a bundle for no daggone Forza Motorsport.
They have one for Horizon right now. I know it's like 7 months later. It's actually more than that.
Arcade racer.
Oh my God.
It's not a simulation. Stop acting like they're the same. They're not the same.
Okay.
There's a reason why I've never played Forza Motorsport, but I've played every Forza Horizon since 2.
And I played every last one of them.
You like simulation racers.
A lot of people like simulation racers.
Not a lot.
What's the
how many copies of Horizon? There's a segment of the community there's a segment of the gaming community that likes those kind of games.
I'm gonna look this up.
Just because it's in Game Pass, people aren't going to go play a game they don't like. They're not even mildly interested in.
Okay. So what you're saying is there's more people. So if Hellblade this is what you're saying to me. If Hellblade is not in November and Forza is, there is more people that's going to cancel their subscription for the month of November than keep their subscription if Hellblade isn't in November and Forza
Oh,
is.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
People.
Okay.
No. What was that? People aren't keeping their subscription for Forza Motorsport.
I'm not saying the cap. I'm just saying that people. Okay.
People will keep their subscription for Hellblade too.
I think people will keep their. I think a lot more people will keep their. Well, no, I think Hellblade will make more people subscribe to Game Pass. So this is the thing. Okay, so we're basically just saying that Hellblade and Forza more than likely they're going to release in the same month with each other.
I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying if it does happen, it's not going to hurt either game. I think the communities, the demographics that play those games are so different that it won't matter.
I don't think it has nothing to do with the demographic, but okay, if you believe that.
All right. Well, look,
it's all about spacing out your content to the point where just because it's a racing game doesn't mean it's not valuable just as the next title is. It's a racing game.
When they do award shows, they throw it in there with sports games.
Okay.
Even though it's not really people don't care about racing, man.
Okay, that's fine, but it's still content. If Microsoft, if they want to put out 4 AAA titles a year, Forza is considered a AAA title.
Yeah, it will be one of them. Yes, it will be one of them.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's 4 titles in a 3-month span. So Forza Motorsport is considered a AAA title. You're just arguing the fact that you just think so you're basically throwing out the fact that Forza is a AAA title.
I didn't say nothing about it. Being AAA is about budget. That's what that's about. That's all AAA, AA, 1A. All that's about is budget.
Okay, but what did that?
So it's a AAA game. Because
did Phil
they
Spencer
spend a
say
ton
that
of
we're
money
going to do
on
5 AAA titles in a year? 6? He said we want to release.
They can't get to the. They have yet to get to the cadence that they want to get at anyway. So I don't
I
really
agree
think.
with that.
So it doesn't really matter what they want to do per year. We're gonna move on. This has been way too long.
No. So GameLogIQ, what do you think?
No, he already said what he thought.
Settle this dispute, sir. Whatever you say, I'll go with because I know you're the voice of your logic. You are a very logical person when it comes to this. What do you think?
Stop trying to butter him up so he agree with you. Stop it. That's sad.
And you guys, we've done 2 different questions, right? We've done, is it going to be at the showcase and is it going to release this year?
We know it's going to be at the showcase, but when do you think the game is going to release?
I actually don't think it'll be at the showcase. They've shown this game. How many times have they shown this game since 2019?
2 times.
Twice, at least.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know that it does anything for them to show. I mean, unless this is the flagship release for this year, which I don't think it is.
No, ain't no way.
Well, no, Starfield's the flagship release for this year.
Yeah, so I just don't know what good it does to show the game again. You know, they've been showing it since 2019.
Let's move on.
Okay, we'll move on.
This is a little bit change of pace. It's not really like their game. It's not really a first party game, but Stalker 2 was supposed to be out already, which I mean, this is probably one game where like I don't really mind delays. I care more about the game being ready than being, out on time. But I think the developers here for Stalker 2 get a lot of leeway with a lot of people because of the predicament that they're in. They're from the Ukraine. The war with Russia is going on there. That is the chief reason why this game still isn't out yet. That said, there are some that believe that Stalker 2 will be shown at the showcase and it may get a release date. I am of the mind that I don't think it will be there. I think those developers they're working hard to try to get the game out, but I don't think it will be out this year. I think it'll probably be out late next year, and they'll probably show it at like next year's E3, or annual showcase or whatever. But what are your thoughts on this logic? You think Stalker 2 is going to be at the showcase?
No, I mean I don't, and I like as I'm saying this, I'm like literally choked up right now because I think what a lot of people don't understand, you know, even going back to like the Twitter kerfuffle about the NFTs and things, I people don't understand the history of the studio. They don't understand what happened in the wake of Stalker. They don't understand that in the wake of Stalker and the success of Stalker, and after working for some number of years of Stalker 2, these guys just came into work and they were just told to go away. They were just told that the owner was shutting the studio down, not giving any explanation. You know, they at least had somewhat of a heads up, but in February after that discussion, they were just turned out on the street. And I don't know how the brother got the money to reconstitute the studio. A lot of these guys went off and did, gosh, I always forget the name. A lot of these guys went off and joined another studio that did a game that's not similar, but feels like similar content. I'll remember it eventually. But I don't know how the brother got the money to reconstitute the studio. I don't necessarily. I think to raise that capital to reconstitute the studio, given the state that part of the world is in, I don't think he just went down to the bank and got a small business loan. Right. You know, I mean, so the studio might be mobbed up, right, to have gotten the money that it needed to do, and now you've got the things that are going on now. It's a really sad state of affairs.
Yeah, well, one of the devs, definitely died fighting in the war. Yeah. So that's.
I mean.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, man. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, I want, in my heart of hearts as a gamer, I want this game to be there. But unfortunately, I agree with you now. I think that team is quite honestly just more concerned about trying to survive right now. And I think that day to day, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of need, you know, it's, you know, keeps them right. And then they also had a recent, at least as far as they reported, also had a recent hack where the code was compromised and some of the stuff was leaked online. So unfortunately I don't think they're going to be able to pull off, right, putting together a vertical slice or whatever to show at the showcase.
Right, and a lot of people don't know what goes into showing a game at a showcase, because when you're developing a game, it doesn't look like what we're seeing on the screen right now, which looks, you know, like amazing, you know, beautiful visuals. But when they're developing a game, they're not developing a game with all those textures on screen and it being all like fully optimized looking.
Well, that bogged down your
stuff.
Work system,
right? Yeah, they develop it with looking as bare bones as possible, very few textures on the characters and stuff. It's about really the game design and getting the game like on the very foundation where it needs to be, and fixing issues with combat and stuff like. You don't need to see all that other stuff that we care about while you're doing that. And I say all that to say that in order to get it ready to look like it's something that you want to play, that takes like 3 to 4 months out of their development time to get it ready just to show it to you. And frankly, if they're too busy trying to survive in a war zone and just get the game out, I don't really think that's a high priority for them. I mean, sure, right, at some point they're going to want to show it, you know, closer to its final build when it's ready. But I kind of feel like having it shown at another E3, or I keep saying E3, another Xbox annual showcase when it's been at 2 of them already. I just don't think that's important, especially if it's not close to coming out.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say before you go to Forte, I hope, again, I pray that I'm wrong, but I think the frank reality is I don't know that this game ever comes out.
That's also a possibility too, yeah. You just never know. Forte, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I want to say it's going to be there, but you know, at this point, until we hear something directly from them talking about development of the game or something, and them actually really truly working on it, I just don't feel like that. Like you said, that's not important. I mean, it's, you know, gaming is gaming, lives are lives though, and a lot of those people are displaced from their families and stuff, and the last thing they're thinking about is texture packs and overall, you know, ones and zeros in code and stuff. So, you know, I don't even feel really even comfortable even speculating on what they would do with that game until we actually get to that point. But I don't think it's going to be there, unfortunately, because we definitely do want to see. It was like one of the best surprises of that showcase when they showed it off for the first time, that people were like, yo, this looks really, really good, looks really, really amazing. And I just think at this point, you know, until they're not going to do anything with that game until they're ready to do it. And I don't even know how long they've been really truly back at the studio, and only some people are at the studio. That's not, you know, it takes more than a small village to make a video game of that caliber, and that's what I don't think they're at full capacity to do anything like that just yet.
Yeah, the thing I couldn't remember is actually when the studio was originally closed down back in 2011, I think it was. A lot of those developers left and founded, are the guys who founded 4A Games, who makes the Metro series.
Yeah. I knew there was a tie between the two of them. The game. All right. So yeah. Looks like the chat seems to disagree. 57% of the chat does believe the game will be at the showcase. Moving on though.
Hope they're right though.
If it's there, I hope it's there because they were able to make it work to get it there, and not because I don't know, like it's just a bad situation for them. I just hope for the best for all of them. Contraband, which with one of those teaser trailers I can't stand because it barely tells you anything. Being made by Avalanche Studio. Is Contraband going to be at the showcase? GameLogIQ.
Yes.
Why do you think it's going to be there?
I'm looking up my reason right now.
Cool. While you do that, Forte, is Contraband going to be at the showcase?
I do think it's going to be there because that was once again, when Phil Spencer, even when he did his kind of, like I said, listen to what Phil Spencer says. When he talked about this during a Kind of Funny interview, that was one of the games that he rattled off. He was like Hellblade, he was like Avowed, he was like Contraband. He's like, these are all games that, you know, a lot of people want to see more things about. And as soon as he said that, I was like, yep, we're going to finally know if this is a arcade machine car dealership style in your garage car, or is it going to have something to do with, you know, drugs? And
I think it's a 4-player co-op extraction shooter is what I think it is, since everyone's doing an extraction shooter now, so why the heck not, right? It's definitely a co-op game because they even said it in the little trailer. Like there's a little like because there's like literally no explanation for any, like it might be heist thing like Payday related to, but it may be close to like Fair Games, but like there's very little in that very like 1 minute long trailer that really explains a lot, but it just says, you know, a co-op open world game. So okay, thanks. I mean that could be so many different things. But
so I wanted to double check. The reason I didn't give my reason is I wanted to fact check and just make sure I was saying the right thing. So in my opinion, so Avalanche Studios is a studio that I love. Just Cause 3. So let's, you know, go over their pedigree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Studio behind the Just Cause series. They did Renegade Ops, which actually I thought was a fun game.
They have a great game engine too.
Game. Yep. Yeah. Studio behind Mad Max.
Oh yeah, Mad Max is a good game. Yeah.
And I didn't. It's weird. I didn't see them do the Rage. I didn't see them do Rage, but they did Rage 2. Who did Rage, the original?
I'll I don't know.
So
I didn't like Rage 2 though. But go ahead.
So my contention is that this studio has not. I don't want to say that they haven't slipped. They haven't had a major. They've had one major slip, and that was Just Cause 4. But overall, I think this studio is a good kind of. They're a solid studio. They're not a great studio, but they're a solid studio. So I don't have any reason to have a low degree of confidence for Contraband. As Forte has been saying, this is a studio that hasn't wronged me in the past. So I'm gonna vote that the game will be there.
I'm gonna lean towards it will be there because they gave us a teaser trailer of this 2 years ago, right? It wasn't there last year, so they gave us a teaser.
That was the 2021 one.
Yeah. So in 2 years, you should be able to show me something more than basically nothing. It was just a CG trailer. I didn't see anything in the game. I don't see nothing of your build, nothing at all. I think at this point, you should be able to show me the actual game. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I think it's gonna be there. I think it's gonna be one of those games that is part CG, actually maybe part in-engine gameplay, but not necessarily actual gameplay running off the game. But just to kind of give people an idea of what the actual game is about. And what is the chat saying? We have this is probably the closest one. The chat, 54% of the chat says no. Contraband will not be at the showcase. So that's probably the closest one yet. The rest of them have been pretty one-sided. I think this next one's also going to be kind of one-sided as well, but hey, we're going to do it. The Outer Worlds 2. Forte, is Outer Worlds 2 going to be at the showcase?
Man, I'm thinking no, because Avowed's going to be there. They're not going to show both those games.
But they showed Grounded and Outer World when they revealed Outer Worlds 2's trailer. They showed Grounded at the same time.
Dude, have they even put textures on the ground in Outer Worlds 2 yet? That mean they just literally 2 years ago showed us a fake trailer of all of the puns and stuff that people say when it comes to like character development and character creation and all that other stuff. So you think they actually had time to actually make a sizzle reel and make a vertical slice of that? No, we're not getting that game. That game will not be there. Yeah. I would love for it to be there, but it won't be there.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's not going to be there. Look, I a lot of these games I put on the list is games that they have either announced or revealed within since the launch of the Xbox Series X. So that's the reason why they're there. And like I would have added other games, but they already released. Like when they showed Grounded, when they showed just like other little smaller games that were at the showcase. Pentiment and all, like from the 2020 Xbox showcase to now, the games that I've listed are games that haven't been released yet, but they have talked about them. So again, we're probably going to see some stuff that we haven't talked about at all tonight, because they're going to be like a first time shown, first time talked about game. Like maybe like
they're going to show Compulsion's game. Compulsion's going to be there.
Yeah,
I think next game's gonna be there too.
There's been talk that IO Interactive's game might be there. That's supposed to be about dragons or something. So like that's all that stuff is definitely a possibility. But I kind of I don't think Outer Worlds 2 is going to be there. I think it's far too early.
Do you think Indiana Jones is going to be there?
I actually kind of feel like that might be far too early too. But again, that also kind of falls into the same category as Contraband. They showed us a CG trailer, really a teaser, 2 years ago of the game. I don't know how long that's been in development, but it's been a little different because it's a licensed game with Lucasfilm Games, and we don't know when Lucasfilm approached or, got with Bethesda to see if Machine Games could do this. So I don't know what about that one. Logic, what are your thoughts about Outer Worlds 2?
Yes.
You think it's going to be there?
Yeah.
I feel like you're just being contrarian right now. Why?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to be consistent. It's a struggle. But what I'm lining up on is and look, I'm looking at this in terms of studio performance.
Okay.
So the studios that I feel like have been performing well, because there's a lot of studios, and in my opinion, not a lot of them are performing well. Obsidian is one that is, and that I have high confidence in. So in a showcase where I feel like there's holes, I feel like Obsidian is one of those studios that you can trust and rely on, right, to fill your showcase out.
Okay.
All right. Well, it looks like 70% of the chat disagrees with you, GameLogIQ. They believe the game will not be there. Okay, sorry, 69%. Someone jumped in at the last moment. I think we got one more, and this one I think we're all going to be in agreement about this one. Good old Fable.
No.
What do you guys think about Fable? Is Fable going to be at the showcase?
I think Fable will be at the showcase.
I mean, they did tease it pretty freaking hard.
now, what version of Fable we're going to get? It's a completely different thing.
Oh, so you believe it might be like a remaster or a remake of the older games?
I think we're gonna get both, honestly. I think we are going to get a remaster of the older games, but I do think they're going to show the new Fable off at the showcase too.
I think Playground's Fable will be at the showcase. I think it'll be. I think that that little ad they did on Twitter was definitely teasing it. The music that they played wasn't exactly the music from Fable 1, Bowerstone, but it was close enough.
Right.
And it would be a crazy amount of coincidences for them to do that, have a glitter trail going from someone's Xbox to their computer with the showcase on it, and not put two and two together and be like, we're playing music that's very similar from the Fable game. We're also doing a glitter trail that's also similar to how players used to get to their objectives. But it's not Fable. It's just like you're asking for an L if you don't deliver on that. So I think it's Fable. I think Fable will be there. I think we'll see. That's one of the games that we'll see in engine gameplay, but not necessarily actual gameplay running on like a PC or a PC build or a Series X build, but just in engine gameplay.
I also think Fable will be there.
Yep. Okay, and so we're all in agreement on that in the chat. Actually, someone agrees with us. 83% agree. Do you think we get a release date or a release window for it?
We get a window. We don't get a date.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to say like 2024. But
It
not
will.
necessarily
I think
not
we'll
a season
I think
or
we'll get a
anything.
range. I think it'll be holiday 2024.
You think Fable's coming out before Outer Worlds 2?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's been in development for far longer, so I would say probably. And Playground's a quality developer. It's just they're making something they've never had to make before. So of course there's gonna be growing pains with that. But this game's been in development since 2017, I think, either 2017 or 2018. And Obsidian was finishing up with the Outer Worlds 1 before back then at that point. So I feel like Fable should be out before Outer Worlds 2. If it's not, that's a bad sign.
Well, I think the thing I'm thinking about is yes, but Obsidian. So Outer Worlds was 2019. Theoretically, they turned the corner and pretty much immediately started at least conceptualizing what they were going to do with Outer Worlds 2 right after.
Yeah, potentially. But then they did have a lot of their teams that were working on the Outer Worlds 1 also doing the expansions. They had like 2, I think, for Outer Worlds 1, 2 like really meaty expansions for that game. So I don't know how many people worked on that, but you probably have like a skeleton crew working doing Outer Worlds 2, and they're doing Outer Worlds 2 in the same engine. They knew what they were doing, right? With Outer Worlds. Really not a reason why it shouldn't make a 3 to 4 year development cycle.
versus Fable, which is Playground doing something that they've never done before, right? And clearly there's been some at least hitches in their step with where they were going with the game. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, we'll definitely see. I think overall, I think this showcase is definitely going to be very, very interesting. A lot of people are going to be arguing about this for the next 2 or 3 weeks once it's over. But let's get on out here because it's super late.
We got one more. We got one more. One more. You forgot one.
What did I forget?
Is Crystal Dynamics ready to show? Are they going to show Perfect Dark?
No. Absolutely not. That's not even a question. That's not
show Perfect Dark.
They ain't showing no daggone Perfect Dark, man. They can't barely get this studio together to actually look. This is Crystal Dynamics have taken over development of the game because the initiative is, I mean, it's like what, 20 people left from the height of where that studio was at one point. I don't think we see Perfect Dark for another 2 years, honestly. So that's just my opinion. But
what about you? Yeah,
cool. Elijah, what are your thoughts on that one?
No, I agree. It's not going to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole situation is a big soup sandwich. So
a soup sandwich.
Compulsion. I mean, player says Compulsion's game. Yeah, we all said we think Compulsion's game probably would be there. Like I didn't mention the unannounced games because of course they're unannounced, and that's pretty much just it's very much up in the air. Those, but I really just wanted to kind of focus on the games that already announced that hadn't been released yet, and whether they would show up or not. So, this though really, I told Forte this is gonna be a long podcast tonight. I didn't think it was gonna be this long. Good grief, we about to go into IOP territory. So let's get on out of here. I do appreciate.
It was a great show.
Yeah, appreciate GameLogIQ for joining us and hanging in there at midnight with us and still going strong. GameLogIQ, let everyone know where they can find you if you found.
Yeah, it's definitely not a show for everyone, but if you wanted to stop by the Enough to Keep Going Weekly Games podcast over on the E2KG Network podcasting channel, either on YouTube or over on SoundCloud or on Spotify, you can check that show out. It's a slightly different show, and the focus is a lot on financial, technical, and kind of market issues within the gaming industry. So, as well as a lot of talk about gameplay. What we've been playing, probably about 50-50. So you're welcome to check that out if you so choose.
Yep, and I will have that added in the description of this video, as well as the audio stuff after the fact. I'll get all that added in there. I was running a little late, didn't get a chance to do it ahead of time like I normally do. But Logic, really appreciate you for joining us once again. You gotta join us again at some point. We don't like people being strangers around here, is what I'm saying. You gotta show up some a little bit more, maybe like 3 or 4 times when the year is up or something like that. Yeah.
Very cool.
We'll figure it out.
We'll steal them away from Brap. Brap don't need them no more.
Yeah, of course. Forte, let everyone know what you got going on for the next week.
Yeah, man. Well, Diablo. Actually, check out my prediction. I mean, a lot of the stuff I talked about today, but if you want some more in-depth stuff to what I'm thinking, check out the Xbox prediction video I'm gonna have out on the channel tomorrow. That's gonna be a fun one to make. It's gonna be the first video I made like standalone in a while for Xbox, so definitely looking forward to the support on that. And playing Diablo is always gonna be a thing. I'm gonna literally jump on Diablo. So I'm literally looking at the title screen like, let's play some Diablo. So but other than that, man, guys, have a great week. I'll be spending the time with family on the weekend because my daughter graduates high school. It's crazy. Her graduation's on a Sunday. Okay. I'd never heard of that before, but it is.
That's definitely new for me. Saturday,
Yeah.
yes. Sunday, weird. Okay.
Yeah, Sunday is weird. But what we doing? We're doing a picnic or a graduation party at a park on Saturday. So weekend's gonna be kind of crazy, but definitely looking forward to what Xbox got to show in the showcase. And hope you guys have a great week. And don't listen to what people say. Don't listen to oh no, Alex, about tempering your expectations. Don't temper your expectations. Xbox owes you this. And if they jack up and if they jack up and drop the ball, it ain't your fault. It's their fault. So go in here thinking the moon and the stars are going to be there. And if they don't live up to that expectation you want, it's okay. There's other platforms out there for you to play. So with that being said, have a great week, guys.
All right. For myself, again, like I said, I will be out of town starting Sunday. I'll be back on next Thursday, which would mean that the next podcast again won't be until next Friday.
Friday next week,
where we will be kind of going over the showcase. Couple people said they might be joining us. We'll see. I don't want to say anything quite yet until it's for certain. But I want to get back to doing lunchtime with slow mo. So I don't know. Maybe if I have the energy, I'll go live Friday morning or lunchtime on Friday and just chop it up with you guys. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. Regardless, let's get on out of here. And we really appreciate everybody for coming through, especially hanging in with us for such a long show. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your morning, night, whatever, and play your games, man. Peace.